Hello. Welcome to the Pinfall podcast. It is
Wrestlemania.
two. I am your host, Liz. I am joined today by my gorgeous, handsome, sensually stunning.
I thought you were going for an alliteration thing again.
I was just going for a theme of how attractive you are.
Thank you.
Co-host, Marcus. You're welcome. Happy Wrestlemania night 2. Kind of sad it's over.
I wouldn't call it happy. This should have been night 1. This really should have been night 1.
Yeah. Not the best night. Not the best one.
Yeah.
Of all the nights that could have existed tonight.
Yeah. You want to go over the predictions real quick?
Yes, I do.
All right. So, for those who are new to the podcast, we do predictions on the outcomes of every match that happens. Triple threats, we will put predictions on who takes a pin as well. So, because there were 14 matches over the course of the entire pay-per-view, we have 15 predictions. Now, for every incorrect prediction, we have to drink 1 can of hard seltzer and finish it before the end of the podcast. So that adds up the more incorrect predictions you have. So if you get 3 wrong, you have to drink 3 seltzers. But whoever has the most correct predictions becomes the Pinfall Podcast Prediction Champion and has to deal out a punishment to the loser. And if there's a tie with correct predictions, we then see who has the least incorrect predictions. But rarely does that happen.
Wouldn't that be the same?
Hmm?
Wouldn't that be the same difference?
Sometimes we've done it to, like, it's happened before. Because we had, it was the one pay-per-view where I got the Street Profits and the Viking Raiders teaming up. Right.
Oh, okay, so special predictions.
Right. It's, yeah. But we also threw in an extra little punishment, which is the loser has to buy a WWE t-shirt of the winner's choice. And we also had our cat predict. And if you want to check out the cat's predictions, go to our YouTube, The Pinfall Podcast, and check out the video there to see all the predictions our lovely cat Pepita made. And now, Liz, tell us how the cat did, first of all.
Okay, how many matches were there?
There
total?
were 14.
So I don't want to have to go through everything because when my font is as big as it is, I have 76 pages of notes. We'll go through tonight though. And Pepita got on. Do. Here, hang on.
We should really keep track of this during the show.
She did really well tonight, actually.
Yeah. Don't remind me.
Oh, sorry. She got 2 wrong.
She got 2 wrong, but I'm
fine. 3. And then she got 4 wrong, or 5 wrong tonight.
5 wrong. Okay.
5 out of these 7 matches.
So she got 2 right, so she did 3 and 11 over the course of the entire pay-per-view. Man, she is really dumb.
Not great.
Horrible
Not great
predicting.
This. She's a cute cat, so that kind of helps her.
A little bit, but looks can only get you so far. All right, so Liz, how did you do?
Ooh, boy. I did pretty darn root-tootin'ly good.
We should say we ended yesterday, last night, both 6-1.
Correct. I finished tonight at a handy 5 and 2.
So
I got 11. I did the opposite of Pepita. I got 11 and 3.
no, because we had 15 predictions. We had 15 because we had the pin.
Oh, right, and I was half right on that. So I was wrong on the other. So I was 2 and 8.
2 and 8.
2 wrong. Sorry, 2 and 6.
6 and 2.
Sure, whatever.
So 11 and 3. No.
Yeah, no.
So
7 predictions last night. So 13 and 3.
13 and 3. Okay. And that's Bill's disaster for you at Sacrifice.
God, we can't have 2-night fucking pay-per-views anymore.
So you did 13 and 3. 13 correct, 3 wrong. That is a lot. Now, I also ended the night yesterday 6 and 1. Today, oh boy, this was embarrassing. Tonight I got 6 wrong and 2 right. So I ended the night 8 and 7. The only thing I got right was the main event, both in who won and who got pinned. But we will go into the specifics of everything when we talk about the matches themselves. So Liz, you are our Pinfall Podcast prediction champion of the biggest show of them all, WrestleMania 2021.
Damn if I did not have a good fucking showing.
So, I drank a seltzer yesterday for my loss yesterday. So tonight, I have to drink 6 hard seltzers. And here is the first one I'm cracking open now.
I don't know what shirt I'm gonna get.
Yeah, you already have so many.
Oh, I do. I've got a ton.
I can surprise you if you want.
Oh,
You sure?
I don't know if I trust you on that one.
All right. I was going to get you a really nice one, but okay.
Were you? What were you gonna get me?
I was going to get you like a Dexter Loomis shirt.
Fair. I'll have to think about it. But I also don't know what to punish you with.
Should have thought about that.
I had been thinking about it.
You've got till the end of the show to think about it.
Oh, I was thinking.
Oh, no.
We don't talk about ourselves enough on this podcast. I was thinking, Mark, I was wondering if you could supplement us with, between the matches, a nice embarrassing story about yourself.
Oh, come on. Come
Now,
on.
what you can do is you can tell a long embarrassing story and break it up between the matches. Or you can tell embarrassing vignettes between the matches.
I will be telling embarrassing vignettes.
Oh, I'm so excited.
I'll have to
Hopefully
think
you
of
put them in like
enough.
chronological order. I know. Mark, I'm sure we're very similar people. We've got enough to fill WrestleMania.
Yeah, we'll see.
I'm going to find out what your main event embarrassing moment is.
I think you've heard it already. You know of most of my stories, so this will just be for
I would
the
hope
audience.
after almost 4.5 years together, you'd think.
All right. So, let us kick off this WrestleMania post-show by talking about America the Beautiful, sung by Ashland Craft today. Don't know who that is, but...
No clue.
Yeah, it was a song. It was America the Beautiful. It's, it's the same. The song doesn't change itself. We then had, oh god damn it, Hulk Hogan and Titus O'Neil coming out in pirate costumes.
This looked beautiful.
A WrestleMania moment for the ages. But we started off with the matches in very interesting fashion. We started with Randy Orton and The Fiend squaring off. Liz, would you like to take the reins on this one? The Roman
I'd love
reins, if
to.
you will.
Love to. I'm just trying to. There we go. I hadn't retweeted the announcement tweet yet.
Am I telling these little vignettes before each match or after each match?
Before.
Oh, God, I have to start now. Okay.
Yeah.
Where to start? I hope you know a lot of this is gonna be me thinking, so I'm gonna be wasting some time.
Okay. Start from the beginning.
Let's see. Start from the beginning. It's like, does my birth count?
You don't remember that.
Oh, that's an embarrassing story. Being born in general.
We're waiting. Class is waiting.
I'm trying to think. Okay. Embarrassing story. So, alright. So when I was in high school, I was super into Call of Duty. I don't think you've heard this story. This will be new for you. I was super into it, played it like as a semi-pro. I even went to a LAN tournament. And they started off with like singles matches, then I think doubles matches, and then the regular like 5v5s or 6v6, whatever. And I was doing the singles, and I didn't win. I came in like 5th place or something, but after that was over, normally the people stay and hang out because there's like pros there and it's like a big deal and everything. But my dad walked in, I was like, okay, cool, let's go, let's leave. And I asked the guy who was running the whole thing, hey, is it okay if I just go? Like, I'm not needed anymore, am I? He's like, I guess not. I guess you can go. I was like, cool, thanks, bye. And I just left. I feel really embarrassed looking back on it because I'm pretty sure all that was like on camera and being streamed.
Mr. Showrunner, sir, is it all right if I leave with my father now?
Yeah, that was.
Love those stories. That's good. Thank you for that. Actually, this is not what I want. All right. You want me to get into Randy versus The Fiend?
Yes, sir.
Quickly about your next story because this is not a long match.
Oh, God, okay.
Right. So we start with, right off the bat, Luke Harper, Brody Lee-esque clothesline lariat to Randy, as well as a spine buster. Fiend then runs at Randy, who skadoodles himself right on out of that ring. Which, by the way, that is the second time I've managed to drop skadoodle in 2 nights in a row now. Feeling good about myself.
Can we also talk about that the Fiend burned off all of his muck?
Yeah, I totally neglected to talk about the walk-in. Try to remember to do that for other things if that needs to happen, only because I will forget.
Okay. Do you want me to talk about it real quick?
Yeah, take the floor.
So, the Fiend is seen in like a tunnel, which doesn't look like a normal walkout area, and all of like the muck and the guts and everything just burns off, and he's back to his normal Fiend self. Fantastic. Except he's got a new shirt on that looks really nice. Because I saw like a close-up shot of him after he did like his whole walkout. He looks great. But then yeah.
I was gonna say that the mask looks different.
It looks a little different. It looks cleaner.
Looks also more,
Oh, did it?
yeah, a little more pulled out, kind of.
But after that, after Randy comes out, we get Alexa Bliss walking down the ramp. She's got even more expanded eye makeup, which I think is to assume corruption, something like that. Because a lot of shows and movies do that too. But she walks out, and the camera pans to reveal a giant what's it called? Jack in a Box. And she walks over to the little handle and starts winding it and winding it. The music's playing, and then pop, it opens. We get the Fiend's music, and the Fiend pops out from the Jack in the Box, looking great, looking amazing, strong as hell. He gives us a little Brody Lee, Luke Harper tribute. It's beautiful. And then we start the match.
Yeah. Really glad that Bray got to do that. So I have to turn my laptop just slightly here. That was more than just slightly. Closer? There we go. All right. So yeah, Randy is skedoodled out of the ring. Once he gets back in, or sorry, no, not once he gets back in. That's silly. Randy then drops the Fiend, who's followed him, into the announce desk, but Fiend no-sells the shit out of it. Pops up, locks the mandible claw in. Instead of that succeeding, Randy gets a Draper DDT onto the Fiend. Don't get an RKO in spite of trying. Randy shoves the Fiend into the box ringside, like into the side of it. We get another Draper DDT, and then Randy stomps on the Fiend's little fingies. We get a lariat and a crossbody to Randy, as well as the Fiend goes on for a senton, but Randy bops on out of the ring again, sending the Fiend down onto his ass. Randy gets back in, throws the Fiend out to ringside again. Get a Draper DDT once more. Randy starts doing the Randy thing with the whole
the Viper,
all that shit. Viper Man, that form. He owns the RKO, but Fiend gets the mandible claw back in. And then he gives him a little smoochy, like it's Sister Abigail time. But unfortunately, Alexa Bliss shows up. Everyone's worst nightmare for reasons the WWE didn't intend.
It's interesting. Because Alexa... Oh, sorry.
I was going to say, wait for your ruminations until right at the end. Unless you're... I don't know. Because I've got some theories here.
I mean, I was just going to talk about the details.
Oh, go on.
Yeah, because she pops out of the Jack in the Box with, like, the fucking ink or whatever dripping down like from her face.
Thorn.
It looked like she had kind of like a crown of thorns kind of thing, or a crown of barbed wire, or something like that.
Yeah, very weirdly Jesus-y in like a way that I may have been blasphemous. I'm not sure.
It was like a mix of like Jesus with wrestling because it's barbed wire.
Wrestling Jesus.
That's God knew that Vince was doing this. That's why he sent the thunderstorm yesterday.
He's like, I don't know what day this is fucking happening, but
But yeah, so she's just there, and like the ink on her face is even bigger now.
Yeah. I've got theories. I'll save it for after this next final note. I've got one note left, but it's interesting. I hate to say it's probably the most interested I've been in Alexa Bliss's part of this storyline in a while.
Yeah.
If during the course of the entire storyline. So Alexa shows up, and the Fiend's just like, whoa. What the fuck? um, and this distracts Fiend so much that Randy gets an RKO and fucking wins.
Yeah.
My shock and awe.
People on Twitter are furious. But the crowd seemed to love it.
I was happy. I don't see why you should be furious about it. Why are they furious?
Because it's just like the whole Goldberg match against Fiend.
Whatever. It's interesting though that Sister Abigail here, as I assume Bliss is supposed to be, is distracting the Fiend and bringing him to a loss instead of a victory.
Right. You have a theory. What is that theory?
Okay, so none of these theories are my original theories. One theory that I heard was that Alexa Bliss is in control now.
Mm-hmm.
She's pulling the strings and Fiend is not. Like, she's gotten so much more powerful with Fiend being gone.
Mm-hmm.
That's one thing I've heard. I don't know what else I've heard now that I'm trying to think about it.
I think the opposite. I think this is Sister Abigail completely taking over. But it's interesting because Sister Abigail was the one who wanted Fiend back. Now, she didn't necessarily distract the Fiend. That's one thing we need to think about. She didn't do anything specifically to cost the Fiend the match. She was just sitting there watching. It's not like she interfered. It's not like she called something out. She was just sitting there. So, I think this is her telling the Fiend to move on. Move on from Randy. Because they have bigger fish to fry.
Then why was she so willing to release Randy from the box?
Release Randy from the box?
Randy, Jesus H, Fiend.
Because she was unleashing the new Fiend. It was just a dramatic entrance, I assume, but this is what we see with the Space Buns Alexa, I assume is Sister Abigail taking over. And then Pigtails, that's Alexa Bliss. But it's more like a Firefly Funhouse Alexa Bliss versus Sister Abigail Alexa Bliss. I think the most likely scenario is her telling the Fiend to move on from Randy. They need to do other things now. Maybe she wants him to go for a title or something.
The other thing that I've heard is that this is more like the Fiend is going to die and we're going to get Bray Wyatt back.
I mean, that's also possible. I think
I wouldn't hate Miss Bray.
Bray is definitely coming back. Now that we got rejuvenated Fiend, we're probably going to get Bray Wyatt back tomorrow. But I don't think that's why Abigail showed up. I don't know. Nobody can explain it right now. So it's so up in the air, and I think that's why a lot of people are mad, because there's literally no explanation for this that you can infer. Because normally,
I was just gonna say, I think that's why I'm excited for it now, because like finally have something to look forward to on Raw, which is just an explanation.
Oh, Liz. Oh, Liz. You think we're gonna get an explanation?
Or another piece of the puzzle.
You think there's a puzzle with all the pieces there? Let me remind you of a few things. First of all, clone Braun. Second of all, clone Randy. Third of all, Wobblin' Walrus. Need I go on? Remember Wobblin' Walrus was there for one episode and then was gone without a trace?
Oh, I thought he was just there to play a part.
He was there to mock Paul Heyman. But he was intended to be there the whole time. But because the Fiend switched brands, they had to nix it.
I don't know, man. I don't fucking know.
The Fiend could be really awesome. This whole storyline could be really awesome if they really tried to give us story. Because all they've been doing with Alexa Bliss, and I think this is why a lot of us have been really bored by it, is because all Alexa Bliss has been doing is recapping and recapping and recapping every single episode.
I mean, also, Alexa Bliss is just not scary to me. I think that they could have done Nikki Cross in that position way better. I think they could have, if they had done Nikki Cross way better, or done her in that position better, it would have made more sense, because Alexa Bliss would have been trying to save her friend. Nikki would have been fucking scary.
You see, I don't think Nikki would be good in the position either, because you also want somebody who's stoic. So I think Shayna Baszler would have been good.
Really? Okay, that's not something I've ever heard.
Because
some people have said Liv Morgan.
Liv would be fine as Pigtails Alexa Bliss, as Pigtails Sister Abigail, but you also need that stoic, creepy standing in the corner Sister Abigail. And I don't think Liv could pull that off so much, because she's still got the cute vibe that Alexa Bliss has. You would need somebody who's also just like I don't want to say scary to look at, because that might sound mean to Shayna, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, I get it.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know how to feel about this. I wish Randy hadn't won. But at the same time, he hadn't won, this would just keep continuing on.
Yeah, I think this was a logical next step.
Yeah.
It's not like we moved on and there's no change in anything. This changes a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah. I hope they do a Cult of Fiend thing. I know they won't, but I feel like that'd be really cool.
It would be.
Alexa Bliss lead a cult of people to worship the Fiend. I don't know who they'd induct in it, but it would be really cool.
Yeah, I don't know. Anyways.
So after that match, we then had Titus, Hulk Hogan, and Eric Bischoff backstage. They're just chatting it up, and then Bayley walks in. She wants Eric Bischoff on her show and says that, hey, I'm a huge fan of your podcast, but if you want to be on a real show, come on Ding Dong Hello at some point. And then Eric Bischoff says, I'm not really a TV person, I'm more of a book person. And then everyone just walks off, leaving Bayley all by herself. And then, God, we had Natalya and Tamina versus Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax for the WWE Women's Tag Team title.
And an embarrassing story from Marcus?
And an embarrassing story from me. So, I have been thinking about this, and I have a story from one time I got very drunk. Very drunk. I don't remember what the holiday was, but I think it was a kind of holiday. Back in my hometown, very drunk. Out at some bars with my friend. And I went outside to get some fresh air. Sat on the grass across the street. And then eventually laid in that grass. And then passed out. Passed out on the grass across the street from the bar And apparently, my friend came to check on me. I said I was fine. He went to do other things with some friends from high school that came around. So I was there, and then apparently the cops showed up at the bar. The cops showed up at the bar, I think because of noise complaint. They didn't notice me at all. I was passed out on the grass across the street, and I wasn't noticed by the cops in the slightest. I woke up a little bit later, went to his house, and just chilled. Went to sleep. Had some grass stains, and that was it.
Okay. Hell.
And the reason that's embarrassing is because it shows off my stupidity and carelessness.
Thank you for telling us why that was embarrassing. I
feel
couldn't
like
figure it out.
I feel like I need to justify myself for some of these.
Okay, so what was your prediction for this, Marcus?
We didn't talk about the prediction for the first match, but I picked The Fiend, you picked Randy Orton, the cat picked The Fiend, right?
The cat picked The Fiend for the last match, yes.
Okay, and for this match, I picked Natalya and Tamina to take those titles. You did as well, and the cat picked Nia and Shayna, that smart bitch. Just kidding. I
Yeah.
love the cat.
But she is a smart little bitch. Oh man. Wanted Tamina to have her moment.
Yep.
But alas. A real humdinger of a match, if you will. So let's just start. I'm really upset about this match, honestly. We start with Natty and Shayna. There's a head scissors submission hold on Natty, but Natty kips up and out of it. Get a side headlock onto Natty. Shayna then shoulder tackles Natty. Natalya goes for Natalya goes for the hip toss, but Shayna blocks it. She attempts the sharpshooter, but Shayna manages to scramble to the ropes before it can even be so much as locked in. And tags Nia in. And at this point, Nia says, I don't want you, Natty. I want Tamina. And she says this by, first of all, shoving Natalya. And I've got to also open up my seltzer. Losing. She gets in, and she and Nia exchange some words, specifically one massive swear word that was successfully taped. We get a big headbutt to Tamina. There's a headbutt to Nia, a headbutt to Tamina, a headbutt to Nia, and then Natalya gets in. They both duck Nia and then hit her with a team back body drop. Shayna jumps in to interfere. There's a kick to Natty. She doesn't get all of it. There's a team lift of Shayna, and they bring her down onto Nia. There's then an inside cradle to Natalya. She gets free and hits the release German suplex on Shayna. Shayna gets back in. Big clothesline to Shayna. Natty gets back in. Natalya catapults Baszler into a super kick from Tamina. Natalya then lifts Shayna, but Shayna slips free up and over. There's a kick to Natty and a hard pump knee to the face of Natalya. Tamina and Nia are fighting ringside at this point. There's a body slam to Tamina. Then another hard knee from Shayna that drops Natty. He starts going back to like good old regular Shayna, dismantling Natalya's knee, kind of twisting, torquing it. Then stomps on Natty's heel and begins twisting the ankle of Natalya. Some elbow drops onto the ankle of Natalya, which, to be fair, sounds really kind of fucking painful when you think about like the bone of your elbow connecting with the ankle bone.
Oh yeah.
I don't care for the idea of that. So Nia gets in. She also starts twisting the knee of Natalya, but Natty manages to fight Nia with some fists. Shayna gets back in. We get a stretch muffler submission from Nia and a running knee to Natalya from Shayna. Shayna starts slamming Natty's knee into the canvas. There's a power slam to Natty. Natalya then dodges a charging Nia and sends her into the post. We get a clothesline and a big discus lariat to Nia. I did not mention that Nia got in at that point. Anyways, big discus lariat. There's a headbutt to Natalya from Nia, and then a single arm spine buster to Natalya. Tamina breaks up the cover. We get Shayna in. We get Tamina in. There's clotheslines and forearms and an inverted bulldog to Baszler. Baszler then sends some kicks to the thigh of Tamina, but we get a dragon screw to Shayna instead. Tamina kicks Shayna away, shoves Nia back. It's a Samoan drop off onto Shayna. She wants the splash, but Shayna kicks Tamina upside the head. Nia then gets in. Tamina at this point has gone up top, and Nia meets her up there. Natalya helps Tamina avoid whatever it was that Nia seemed to have in store when she met up. Natalya manages to kick Shayna away. We get a crossbody off the top rope to Natalya and Tamina from Nia. A big backhand to a chirping Nia from Tamina and a body slam. Not the best body slam in the world, but I don't really want to criticize Tamina tonight because I love her. Tamina goes up top again, hits the Superfly splash. Nia rolls away. Tamina lands face first. Natalya gets in. It's a lariat to Shayna, setting her off the apron, but Nia lifts and Shayna tags in off of Nia. Natty then takes Shayna off the apron again. We get a drop kick to Shayna. A drop kick to Nia and then a sharpshooter on Nia. But Nia's not the legal man, so like it doesn't fucking matter. It was the thing that like really annoyed me when this was happening. I was like, why are you wasting your time with a sharpshooter on the person who's not legal? Anyways, and then Shayna gets in and gets a Kirifuda clutch onto Natalya, who has no defenses because she's busy doing a sharpshooter on Nia. And then Shayna and Nia win. Now, be how it is how it be.
Yeah. Can't wait for the weeks on end of Shayna and Nia not giving a shit about matches.
Yeah. I don't know. I really thought that they should have dropped the titles, let it go over to SmackDown at least. But the girls that are on SmackDown kind of have some time with it. I don't know. It's just so tiring.
Maybe Lana and Naomi will challenge for it next, so they'll get it.
Maybe. I guess that's a point.
Alright, so after that we had Sami Zayn brings out Logan Paul. Whole crowd boos Logan Paul. Exactly to be expected. I am sure Vince even expected that. He sits at commentary. Thank God we don't hear from him at all. There is a Logan sucks chant that happens. But then we get Sami Zayn versus Kevin Owens. Liz, who did you pick for this?
I picked Mr. KO himself.
I picked Sami Zayn, thinking there would be some kind of DQ that would happen, but nope.
No, even Computer chose Kevin Owens.
Yep. I would have one less seltzer. If that was the case.
What up? Okay, you're doing something special there.
Nope. And I haven't had time to think about another embarrassing story.
Oh, come on.
Huh? I mean, I'll think about it. I can think of one, I'm sure.
Well, you can tell the time. Oh, go on.
Well, so it was, I forget whose birthday this was, but it was at your old apartment in college. And
Oh, it was Sarah's birthday, I think.
you don't know the story, but it probably was.
I don't?
Well, you know the story, but you don't know what I'm gonna say. And everybody, the whole party was doing a shot of green apple vodka to start. I'm not a huge fan of green apple vodka, but you know, it is what it is. That was my first drink of the night. So I was dead sober before this. Immediately shoot it back. And I just sprint to the bathroom to puke.
I vividly recall that because I didn't do the shot because I'm a little puss and I will not do a shot unless it is mixed with like a fuck ton of lemon juice. Also can't do a shot out of a shot glass. For some reason my brain just equates that with a shot, as it should. And I simply cannot. My brain immediately, the gag reflex is like, I know that glass.
Yeah.
If I do a shot, I have to do it out of like the bottom of like a solo cup or something. But I remember that because everyone was doing like shots, and I was like, "Oh, that's disgusting." Like, in my house. And Mark does his, and then he's like, "Oh, I gotta go to the bathroom." And I was like, "All right, bye." Comes back because that party was a mess, as it were. But come back, and you're just like, "Yeah, I just got sick," and I was like,
I may sound like a psychopath, but the only thing I can do shots of is tequila.
Tequila is an easier one for me to do shots of, especially when I've got like the whole like rigmarole of like salt and the lime, and then there's steps.
It just goes down smoother. Because vodka, it hits immediately. Tequila doesn't hit you till it's already down.
What I can do shots of?
Hmm.
Schnapps. That's it.
Anyone can do shots of schnapps. 10-year-olds could do shots of
I know.
schnapps.
Probably, and they probably enjoy it. These shots of schnapps 10 times fast. Okay. So sadly, no KO jumping off of the pirate ship tonight.
Man,
I'm not really sure what the point was.
Was a disappointment. Everything.
It was a disappointment, especially because it was like there weren't any like returns. There was nothing special.
No, there were 0 surprises.
Yeah.
It was so evident that all the heels were winning today.
At least last night we got Bianca to win. Like that win was like
It was massive.
Was magical.
You didn't have any big wins today. I guess Reya, but they didn't even play any pyro for her.
Yeah, and like that was a win it's tarnished by. I think my biggest win really tonight is Sheamus. That was the win that I popped the most for because I was like,
I was too mad to pop.
Oh, that's understandable. Yeah.
If
annoyed me because I was like, you should be happy about this, Marcus.
Well, if we were equating our confidence to numbers, to number value, I would have put all my money into that match. I would put all my confidence, all my money betting on Riddle to win that. Because
and you didn't.
The story came out of nowhere. And normally, yeah, champion wins that.
Yep. But let's focus on the match at hand. Sami Zayn versus Kevin Owens. We get a pop-up powerbomb right off the bat. Sami rolls out of the ring. Sami just says, no, thank you. This is not for Sami. He goes for another... Kevin goes for another pop-up powerbomb ringside, but Sami punches him away. Gets back up onto the apron. Yes, sir?
Sorry. I just want to take a few steps back for a second. Before we get too far off from me talking about putting money on things, apparently... the odds of The Fiend winning against or the Randy winning against the Fiend were minus 1,500. So anyone who bet money on the Fiend losing made a lot of money.
So I was actually just thinking, I was like, with how good I did with my predictions, I should have entered that fucking DraftKings thing.
Yeah.
It would have maybe done something there.
Yeah.
I thought about it during NXT TakeOver. And then when you sign up for DraftKings, you've got to put in your last 4 digits of your social. And that was when I was like, oh.
As soon as you put money on these predictions, you're gonna get all of them wrong. You're gonna pull a me tonight.
Yeah. You are in the same position I was in at Fastlane. This is exactly where I was, because we were maybe 4 matches into Fastlane, and I looked at my stuff and I was like, there's no way I'm fucking winning. I can't win anymore. So
I'll always look back on SummerSlam when I get every single match right.
That was bullshit. Anyways. Back to Sami and Kevin. Kevin slings Sami up against the ropes, and he bounces right back off of them into the ring. We get a cannonball to Sami, and then KO goes up top. Sami bops over to the apron, says, again, no thank you. Not a fan of this. Kevin follows him, gets a big boot to the face, and then a nasty little suplex on the apron. Mr. Kevin. That was when I kind of realized, I was like, oh dear, they're gonna like fucking kill each other. All right. Wasn't looking out for a grudge match, but like, sure.
This was deadly. This was brutal.
We finally get back into the ring, and Kevin is getting punched to pieces. Gets up with some with some jabs. And then we get a Michinoku driver to Kevin that, like, fucking lethal. Anyways, so Sami then hoists Kevin up top. Kevin refuses to go down for the superplex. There's some punches exchanged and a headbutt that finally drops Sami. The splash down onto Sami is successful. We get a neck breaker then over the knee to Sami. Kevin goes to lift Sami, but Sami goes up over. We get an exploder suplex into the corner. Sami wants the haluva kick, but Kevin Owens dodges. Kevin goes for the stunner, but it's countered with the blue thunder bomb. An exploder suplex into the buckles again, and then a big suplex that lands Kevin high up on his neck. Like, oh man, watching a man die tonight, kind of.
They put their all into this match, and by all I mean their entire spine and neck.
Yeah. So Sami then hoists Kevin Owens. Oh no, sorry. I'm jumping all over the place. There's a brainbuster to Kevin Owens after that, and Kevin Owens just refuses to fucking die. Sami hoists Kevin back up top again, but the superplex attempt is countered with a fisherman suplex. We get a haluva kick to Kevin, and then after a few clotheslines to Kevin, we get a haluva kick to Kevin after a few clotheslines. He wants the second haluva kick, but Sami gets super kicked once and then twice, and then we get a stunner to Sami for me to win. And then we get a stunner to Logan Paul for all of us to win.
You see, I want to be happy, but Logan Paul was paid a shit ton for this, and that was his WrestleMania moment.
Yeah, I try to look at it the other way.
But props to Vince, honestly, for seeing that the crowd would hate Logan Paul. People say he's out of touch, but he knew that. Whether it was him or his coworkers, he knew that he would be a heel, just naturally.
Yeah.
So after that, we had Riddle and the Great Khali backstage. Who's the other guy? Who's the third guy?
Third guy?
Yeah.
Translator?
Yeah, the translator. Was he just a translator, or was he one of the NXT guys?
He's not the guy working as the translator was not one of the NXT guys. I think he was the guy who worked as his manager.
Okay. But yeah, it was the three of them. Riddle congratulates Khali on the Hall of Fame.
Painful.
The translator leaves, and then Riddle just goes on and on. Great Khali doesn't speak English very well, so we can't really understand what Riddle's saying. He still goes on. We get this awkward moment, and then Riddle leaves. There is some weird banging going on in this promo. What?
Riddle doesn't leave. Remember, RVD comes in.
Oh, right. Rob Van Dam comes in, and he kind of plays like the middleman for them, but then he offers each of them RVD rolling paper, further cementing the weed storyline with Riddle, or the weed gimmick. It's so dumb. It's so overplayed. Just let him be stupid. They gotta make him a himbo like Austin Theory. Enough of this surfer dude bullshit.
Yep, I know. He's fucking useless.
Yeah. But you know what? Maybe it's for the best that I don't like him and his gimmick. Maybe Vince is doing that on purpose.
Maybe he's like, this will resonate with the youth, but for the rest of us, it's just going to be fucking annoying, and Matt Riddle will be hated exactly how he's supposed to be hated. Maybe we can believe that that's how Vince's mind's working on this one.
Yeah. Now I want Riddle's screen time to just be him riding around on a scooter going, vroom. Like, that's it.
I would love for it to not even be that. If we can avoid it.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
boy.
But take Riddle out of the equation. If anyone had this gimmick, just give him Austin Theories.
Yeah, I get
The
it.
gimmick is so stupid.
It is. He's useless. And like, because he doesn't have anybody to really play off of, it's even worse. But I don't know how. His gimmick isn't the same as Austin Theory's, so like, I don't even think it would be interesting or fun to watch then.
Right. Well, like, you mix Austin Theories with like an MMA attitude, because the whole thing with Riddle, it's so dumb because like, yeah, he's super goofy in promos, like he's super goofy and happy-go-lucky, but he's serious and means business in the ring. That contrast, it doesn't necessarily like make sense.
That's why he reminds me of every annoying guy in class, because like, he was goofy to get the laughs out of everybody, but like, God forbid somebody like did something wrong to him, and then he'd be a fucking psychopath. Like, he's the kid that's annoying as shit no matter what, and like just wants everybody to laugh at him. Then like in Dodgeball, he's the one out there trying to fucking brain you.
Oh, right, yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I think this is just me admiring the writing on NXT rather than the main roster.
Not hard to do that.
Yeah. But that brings us right into Sheamus versus Riddle for the United States Championship. And my God, was this a match. It had one of the best finishes of the night. One of. Because there were some great finishes tonight.
The beginning was not promising to me in the slightest.
It was pretty good.
I just had trouble focusing on it, which is usually my indication for me personally that I don't think something's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
But around the halfway point, I was like, I think we have a match here.
So just to recap the predictions, you picked Sheamus to win the title.
I did.
the cat picked Riddle to retain, and I picked Riddle to retain. Trying to be a realist here. And yet, the reality was Sheamus won. Shamu.
So last night I was like, I'm going to wear my red shirt because I've got red makeup on. This makes the most sense. Tonight I was supposed to have blue makeup on. I've got like a little bit of blue underneath. I promise. Thank you. I was like, I don't have any blue. The only blue shirt I have is Drew McIntyre, and I'm not wearing that fucking shirt right now.
Yeah, that's fair.
So I was thinking about it. I was like, well, I'll just wear a black one then. I was like, well, I could wear Finn's, or I could wear Sheamus's.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'll wear Sheamus's. Why not? And look at me. Chose Sheamus, wore Sheamus. Sheamus fucking won.
Yeah, but you wore Seth Rollins yesterday, and Seth did not win.
I didn't want Seth to win.
I wore Up, Down, Down, and the New Day didn't win.
If you were Orange Cassidy,
He would come over to WWE. All right, so embarrassing story. Oh man,
spin us a tale, storyteller.
I'm trying to think. I don't take the time during matches to think because I'm too busy listening to you.
You don't just have a wealth of embarrassing stories stocked up. I do.
I try and just suppress all that. It doesn't work a lot of the time, but I try.
Welcome to your therapy session.
Oh, god damn it. I have one in the back of my mind that I'm saving for the end. Let's see. Embarrassing story. Alright, I've got one. It's not great, but I was working on a shoot for Sephora. And I was working as the gaffer, which if you don't know, a gaffer is somebody who does the lighting. And I was using this light panel, and it had two settings where it had like a dimmer between hot and cold in terms of the tint. And I had it on the cold setting. Oh no, I had it on the warmest setting, and the camera guy, the DP, asked me he asked me if it's on daylight, and I said, yeah, it's on daylight, because I assumed, daylight, the sun is hot, so yeah, it's on daylight, it's warm. And then looking back at the footage, he's like, you did not have it on daylight, you had it on I forget the name for it being warm, but he wouldn't let it go for the entire shoot and just made it a running joke.
Oh.
He's hiring me back for future jobs, so it wasn't the end of the world. And there was another after that, so not the end of the world. But it's still something that just will forever be ingrained in my mind.
All right, that's fair. I'll take it.
All right, so Sheamus versus Riddle for the United States Championship.
All right. Start. So there's a shoulder tackle to Sheamus, and just some slaps on slaps on slaps to Sheamus, because I guess that's what Matt Riddle's doing now. He's just slapping people. Sheamus gets Riddle down to the canvas, but on his way up, he koalas Sheamus and gets a sleeper hold on him. Sheamus then simply plants Riddle hard into the ground. Then, perhaps this is my least favorite part of the entire evening. Sheamus, the recipient of some gross ass bare feet in his face. He didn't like that one bit. I don't know where those fucking feet have been. But knowing Matt Riddle, they're disgusting.
I mean, just the fact alone that he wears sandals everywhere, at least as his gear. They've been all over the Raymond James Stadium floor. Unless he gives a nice foot bath just before coming out.
You know, I can't imagine anybody putting their feet near my face. I would probably kill them. That would be on site. I'd murder you. After doing that, Riddle gets a triangle lock on Sheamus hanging over the ropes. Gets released, and we get 10 beats of the bottom against Riddle's chest, and by that I mean 8 beats because Sheamus doesn't go to 10. So makes me a little mad. We get a hefty suplex to Riddle. Sheamus goes up top and gets hit by an overhead belly-to-belly superplex. He's caught by a Pele kick. We get a pump knee strike and a belly-to-belly suplex to Sheamus and then a senton down onto him before a vertical suplex that nearly fucking kills Sheamus. Which made me so mad because I know Matt Riddle's strong as fuck. The fact that he fucked that up was incredible to me.
Wait, what was the move?
It was a vertical suplex. So Sheamus was upside down in Matt Riddle's arms. And Matt Riddle kind of like brought him down so like he was holding him. And brought him into the suplex. But he lost his grip. So he couldn't guide the turn. So Sheamus very nearly, luckily he tucked quite a bit, very nearly went straight down onto his fucking head.
Okay.
From a height.
Okay.
And I was like, first of all, I already fucking hate you. So don't do that. Second of all, Sheamus is one of my favorite fucking wrestlers.
Mm-hmm.
So if you were to somehow brain the man I love, it'd be feral. Not in the fun, sexy way.
I mean, you also got to think about this is Riddle's first WrestleMania, so he's probably feeling that pressure.
I get it. I do. But I don't. Fuck him. Anyways. It's fair. It's just...
Look, I'm just trying to provide some explanation behind it, okay?
I'm sure. I understand.
I no matter how awful the person is in wrestling, I like my wrestling to be safe, you know? What was that?
Understandable. That just sounded like somebody dropped a bowling ball in the hallway.
Okay.
Yeah. Then there's a bro Derek that's reversed by Sheamus, who puts Riddle back into the same position. Which I thought was really interesting. And that kind of gave me a sense. I was like, wait a second. Maybe Ulyss is going to be happy here. Sheamus then sends Riddle to the apron. He gets a kick to the back of the neck in return. There's a bro kick and then an Alabama slam. And Matt Riddle kicks out, I think, at like 2 3/4. And all of a sudden, I was like, and I realized, I was like, oh, I want this. I want this really badly. So now we get Sheamus out on the apron. He loads Riddle back into the ring, but Riddle slides down, shoves Sheamus into the post. We get an awkward suplex to Sheamus. Then we get a pump knee strike still on the apron that sends Sheamus down to ringside and a floating bro onto Sheamus. Riddle then goes off the top of the post with a moonsault. But Sheamus still kicks out. And out of frustration now, Riddle just gets the reverse armbar locked in, which is another thing with Riddle's character where it's like, he gets frustrated and angrier and like the vicious angriness. So like, if he weren't a face, I'd be like, oh, cool. But like, it's nastiness.
Mm-hmm.
Just doesn't fit the character.
Wait.
The character doesn't work for a wrestler.
For Riddle?
Because, yeah.
I mean, I get it. Plus, you also don't see many wrestlers who, like, can switch at the drop of a hat. Like, nice to mean, but you gotta remember, Sheamus has been attacking him at every turn, provoking him at every turn, and then only for Sheamus to continue to dominate him in this match. In terms of writing, it makes some sense, you know?
It does. What I'm saying is that, like, I know, like, Riddle's not going to be, like, goofily doing a reverse armbar or anything like that, but, like, it's just the nastiness that he gets on his face.
Right. Yeah.
It's because it's not, there's a difference between having determination on your face and having malice.
Right.
It's just like, where my water bottle straw was, it was like casting this very strange line down my but it's just
it's
almost like uncomfortable. It's unsettling.
If he was facing Finn Balor, Finn would definitely point out that emotion that gets to him. He would use this as a point in the feud.
Sure.
And honestly, I hope we get a rematch for the title. I feel like it'd be a really good match.
So Riddle gets the reverse armbar. Sheamus then lifts him and power bombs him. Riddle gets the Kirifuda locked in, but Sheamus reaches the ropes. So at this point, we have another little funky whoopsie poopsie, where Sheamus is going for the white noise off the ropes.
I don't know what happened here. Oh, I can assume what happened. Yeah.
So. Oh, no. Okay, this actually isn't where this happens. I'm sorry. Sheamus is going for the white noise off the ropes. Riddle maneuvers himself to get this down and is looking for the sunset flip bomb. Mm-hmm. So Sheamus hasn't started climbing yet, but he's got Riddle up here. Riddle slips down. Doesn't manage the sunset flip bomb. Get up top. Riddle... This was awkward. Riddle climbs onto Sheamus's back. It's not really like Sheamus was like forcing him to do anything. He was just like, all right, and now it's my turn. So Sheamus loads him onto his back. And I don't know if the ropes were slippery or if it was just something awkward with like the balance of Riddle on his shoulders. Sheamus has done this before. Something was just a little funky. Sheamus knew whatever he was going to do was not going to land properly. So Sheamus just jumps down with Riddle on his back, not like the format of a move.
I think I can assume what happened. Because he normally does a white noise off the ropes with his back to the ring. Because he was facing the mat, there was probably no way for him to get enough distance from the ropes to make a safe landing. So he just had to take it down to the canvas and just do it there.
He did the right thing. Unfortunately, I'm sure it'll be on Botchamania, but he did the right thing. He got down, the white noise in the ring. And then, you know what? In spite of that, Sheamus goes back up top, hits a nasty flying knee drop.
Yeah, and I think for any botches this match had, the ending... the finish really makes up for it.
Yeah, the fucking flying knee, he did that shit, and I was like, now that's a WrestleMania moment right there. Mm-hmm. After the Sheamus goes for the brogue, Riddle rolls him up, and I was like, fuck me, I don't want this. Then Riddle goes off the second rope for the floating bro, and I said, well, this is it, this is done. Sheamus is up there, knees him right in the fucking stomach.
That was a bro kick. That was a bro kick, right?
Was it a bro kick?
When he was in the middle of the flip? That was a bro kick to the face.
Well, okay, so that explains stuff. Sheamus hits the brogue mid-floating bro right into the face of Matt Riddle. Matt Riddle is now spewing blood.
Oh my God.
Spitting it up like a fucking fountain. I think he lost some teeth.
Probably.
Certainly no Timothy Thatcher losing teeth. I'm gonna be honest here.
This was more of a Preston Vance.
Yeah, this was a bit of a Preston Vance losing teeth.
Or that was him. That was him biting his lip. That wasn't losing teeth.
Oh, splitting his lip or whatever. Yeah. But whatever happened, it was a lot of blood. And Sheamus fucking gets that pin, wins, and my God, I was sitting there just losing it. All over the place.
That was an amazing finish. Oh my God. Because not only do you have Sheamus looking like a fucking brute, like the strongest man in Raw, but you have just a bloodied, pissed off Riddle sitting against the ropes. It's such an awesome visual. It is so cool.
Yes, sorry. We will never, ever, ever in our lives have another quite as sexy as Timothy Thatcher saying, "Yep," after being asked if he can finish his match. That will never happen again. Dude, I really hope that Tim was sitting there just like, you see. But Riddle's gonna get those fucking teeth replaced, so if he lost teeth, he's gonna get those replaced.
Yeah.
Unlike Mr. Thatcher himself, the king.
The lost teeth fits Thatcher's gimmick. Doesn't fit Riddle's.
He specifically said, he's like, after explaining how he lost the tooth twice and just decided it was never meant to be. He was like, I guess it works for me. And I was like, it does, Prince, it does.
I'm sure at some point in the future he will.
I don't know about that.
I don't know.
Thatcher does not seem like the type of guy who would just be like, yeah, fine, fuck it, let's spend some money on this.
Well, he might be like, okay, it's been long enough that I've had these teeth lost, so might as well just say fuck it, get it replaced.
Maybe one day he'll find a woman and he loves her so much that he's like, I want our wedding pictures to be perfect.
Doesn't want toothless Timmy out there. Thanks to Ciampa for giving us that. You know what? Fuck it. Ciampa
I'm not saying thanks to Ciampa for shit. Wouldn't be toothless Timmy if Timmy wasn't toothless. Thank you, Timmy.
All right. So after that,
fucking WrestleMania.
Every pay-per-view, because we don't have the news, so it's not like your muscle memory.
Brian says no news, no signs.
Man, that match was so good. You know what? That was one of the highlights of this night.
This night was really disappointing to me for a lot of reasons, but this match was, and it's funny, when they were talking about it on the pre-show, they were like, well, we said that Seth and Cesaro would steal the show last night, but tonight I think it's going to be Sheamus and Riddle. I was like, you guys are fucking like smoking crack cocaine. What are you talking about? Now I'm just like,
although they do have huge competition with the main event, but yeah, Riddle and Sheamus, that rocked.
Not for me.
Really?
Me, this is it.
Oh man, okay. Not what about with Sami and Kevin? That was gnarly.
Sami and Kevin definitely has a spot up there for me. I would say more so than the main event, honestly.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. I think with the main event, because it's the main event, my brain's just like, well, yeah, that's a big fucking thing. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Like my unsung heroes.
Mm. All right. So up next we have Biggie versus Apollo Crews for the Intercontinental title. Man, this match sucked. This match sucked so bad.
The one thing that I can say for this that does make me happy is getting to see Dabba-Kato getting used.
Yeah, but the thing is,
that excites me.
I legit knew Dabba-Kato was going to come into this before it started, because I saw WWE trademarked, I think it was Commander Azim, something like that, Commander Azira, something like that. And so I knew that had to do with Apollo Crews's gimmick. And a lot of people were suspecting Dabba-Kato. And man, even knowing that, this match sucked. It was so short. And it ended with the interference. At least if you have a WrestleMania match, have the interference happen. Have the face fight out of it. But then you can still have them lose. But don't end with the interference.
Yeah, I do get that. That is something that really should not be part of a WrestleMania match.
Especially this one, which is like a massive match that a lot of people are looking forward to because it was set up so well. Although this is like the 4th or 5th time. Oh no, this is Apollo Crews's 7th chance at this title. I saw that statistic online. This is his 7th chance for it.
It's not Apollo Crews if it's not 400 matches with the same person.
Yeah, but this is not Apollo and Bobby. It hadn't been. This was great until now. And
I get it.
Unless they move Biggie to the Universal title, this was not worth it. But y'all want an embarrassing story?
Yeah.
All right, so I was working a job, working at a racetrack. I was a PA, but they had me working in the truck, operating the highlights for this live race broadcast. It was actually really fucking cool. I would do it again in a heartbeat. But I was on my phone during a break. I was in my group chat. And my friend in the group chat sends a picture of like a Photoshop of naked Thanos. And I open it up right in the middle of the truck when there are people standing right behind me. And me, along with all my other friends, were like, holy shit, don't post shit like that, because we have not safe for work chats in our Discord. And I haven't been hired by them since. So, fuck. It's something, it's embarrassing, but I look back on it fondly. Because, you know what? I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to say it because we save these streams.
That's understandable.
Yeah.
You could bleep it.
No. I don't want to go through that work.
Sure.
Biggie versus Sami. Wow. Biggie versus Sami Zayn. No. Biggie versus Apollo Crews in the Nigerian drum match for the Intercontinental Championship. Not a single goddamn drum was used. Not a single drum.
Unfortunately. Mark, who did you pick for this?
All three of us, including the cat, picked Biggie. My brain is everywhere. We picked Biggie because this was the right choice. It was the right choice to pick Biggie. God damn it.
It should have been. All right. Right off the bat, both men get kendo sticks. Biggie managed to get the majority of the hits from the kendo sticks. Ends up getting the best of it. He drives Apollo into the drums of ringside. Hits the gong, but Apollo kicks it out of his hands. Wasn't even that satisfying of a noise. Apollo then hits Big E with the kendo. Big E knocks it from his hands. Apollo goes to the apron and E spears Apollo clear out to ringside.
That was gnarly.
That was something else. Big E gets the steps set up, goes to the apron, but then gets strung up on Apollo's shoulders. And we get a fireman's carry takeover to E on the apron. E is then laid out on the steps. Apollo gets the smaller steps and wants to send them into Biggie's midsection like he did that first time. But Biggie rolls away before the impact, and thank God for the camera work, because the camera work really actually was amazing for this. He, just as he dropped them, and your brain is still like, well, Biggie's right there. He drops them, and you're like, then they zoom out and Biggie's gone. And you're like, oh.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
Fuck.
somehow this camera work for this whole feud has been fantastic.
Yeah. It's been very good. Which is one thing you can say about this feud. So we get a boot to Biggie's in midsection. Apollo goes for another, but Biggie lifts him and slams him down onto the steps in a Uranagi. He gets a table and sets it up. Weirdly enough, although he didn't fulfill the curse that always happens when you set up the table, which is you get put through the table.
Yeah.
Something similar occurs. So there's an insecurity to E, and Apollo is back to using a kendo stick on Big E, and the damn thing fucking splinters into a billion pieces. Then Apollo rolls Big E up onto the table. Goes for the frog splash. Big E is at this point rolled away, sending Apollo through said table. Big E's feeling himself. He's like, all right, so now I'm gonna win. Until Mr. Dabba-Kato, who we have not seen in a hot second. A hot, raw underground second. He's there. He's finally kind of gotten his call up, it seems.
Yeah.
He's the only one to do something that sounded like a drum, which is he punches E in the chest really hard, and it sounded like a literal drum. I will give Dabba-Kato that fucking credit, because that is where the credit is due.
Yeah. I mean, no.
I heard that shit and I was like,
Dabba-Kato did fantastic. Apollo Crews, even he did amazing. Like, he looked fantastic in this match. It's just like everyone in this match looked amazing, but the match itself just fell flat so hard.
yeah. Dabba then choke slams Biggie and drags Apollo's body onto Ease to win the title. It's awesome to see NXT talent getting where they should be going. We got that last night with Omos. For NXT trainee talent, because I don't know if Omos or Dabba actually ever performed on NXT. Because I remember when Dabba was signed, and I don't recall him being ever on NXT. But that said, it's awesome to see these trainees getting their call-ups. It's awesome to see them being used in storylines, and I'm actually really excited to see how Dabba-Kato is used in this storyline. I'm really looking forward to SmackDown.
Yeah.
To find out what the fuck happens there. I'm really hoping that when we get to SmackDown, we don't have a fucking rematch, but that's a different story. I just think this match did fall flat for a number of reasons. Cool that Dabba-Kato is getting his time in the sun. Sad that Biggie lost in his hometown. I wish that if he had lost, it wasn't due to interference, because at the end of the day, well, I guess technically it's a no holds barred match, so it doesn't really matter if someone interferes.
Yeah.
But you know what? I'm liking Apollo's storyline right now. I'm really liking it. I'm really digging it. I think it's really creative. I think it's really different.
Yeah.
I can't be too pissed off that you lost the title here.
Yeah, I just wish the match was longer, but otherwise it's been a great storyline.
I think we deserved a longer match too after what the fuck happened at Fastlane.
Absolutely.
Which again, what the fuck happened at Fastlane?
Also, we were talking earlier about the pay-per-views coming up for WWE. I have confirmation on Wikipedia that the next pay-per-view, May 16th, is WrestleMania Backlash.
Stupid.
Money in the Bank is June 20th.
Wow, that's far out. Damn.
And you know what? It makes so much sense that Backlash is next, because I've been thinking about who's champion right now. Out of everyone, there is only one face champion, and that's Bianca. Because you have the Dirty Dogs, Apollo, Roman, Bobby, Reya, Sheamus, AJ and Omos, and Shayna and Nia. All of them are heels.
Sometimes I forget that Sheamus is a heel because I hate Matt Riddle so fucking much.
You also forget Ray is a heel, but she just came by, so.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're gonna see. I can guarantee Backlash will be all rematches.
Okay. All right.
Which means we'll get the 8th match between Biggie and Apollo.
Begging for literally anything else.
All right. But as disappointing as that match was, we then had the Hall of Fame class of 2021. The only notable thing here is that it was very nice to see Kane do his Kane walkout. As controversial as his political standing is, Kane is iconic. The Kane, the persona, is legendary, and seeing it right now is so fun.
I agree.
It's the same with the Undertaker. It's the same with a lot of the legendary guys, because they've paved the way for everything we know now. Although the only person that we are not going to give credit to is Hulk Hogan, because fuck that guy.
That's fair. Meh.
Macho Man Randy Savage would have done as much for the brand, as much for the business as Hulk Hogan did. So the class of 2021 included Ozzy Osbourne, Great Khali, Eric Bischoff, Kane, Rob Van Dam, as well as, who's the guy who got the Ultimate Warrior award? Who's that guy? What's his name?
Rob. Something Herring.
Eric Herring?
No, Rob Herring, I thought.
Rob Herring? Sean Herring?
Yeah. Rich Herring.
What was it?
Rich
Herring. Okay. Rich Herring got the Ultimate Warrior award. Molly Holly as well. So yeah, it was very nice to have them be inducted in front of a crowd like they deserve. But after that, we then have Rhea Ripley versus Asuka for the Raw Women's Championship. This match is kind of a banger. Pretty good. I enjoyed it for the most part.
I enjoyed it.
Did you not
Sort
enjoy
of.
it? Did you not enjoy Rhea winning? Yeah. I don't either. Rhea winning is very bittersweet, because yes, it's nice that the next generation of women is getting all these titles. You got Raquel, Bianca, and Rhea. But you're really shitting on Asuka by doing this, because she had a shitty reign to begin with, and you're just taking it away from her. Just further stomping on it.
It's so stupid, and it's just such an insult to Asuka. They fucked her over in the worst possible way. It's just
Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, she hasn't had a title defense that has ended in a pinfall or submission since October. That is insulting.
they fucked her so hard.
Yeah.
In such a just disrespectful way
Mm-hmm.
that it blows my mind.
Right. Yeah.
It like hurts me personally.
I agree. So predictions. Of course, I predicted Asuka. Who'd you predict?
I predicted Asuka.
And the cat predicted Asuka, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Dear.
Huh?
Fuck up.
What? What's going on?
I think I fucked up. I don't think I grabbed enough hard seltzers.
What do you mean? I thought you picked Rhea Ripley for this.
What did I get wrong tonight?
You got Roman and the pin wrong. You got Biggie and Apollo wrong. You got tag match wrong. Did you pick Rhea? I thought you picked Rhea.
I picked Asuka.
Okay, so then you needed 5 seltzers. You need 5 seltzers? That doesn't sound right.
Yeah.
I
mean, literally all of my predictions are predictions I typed out
mm-hmm.
on the night of Stand and Deliver or SmackDown. And then I copy and pasted them from SmackDown. And then I went from there.
So you got Sheamus, Kevin Owens, and Randy right. That's 3. So you got 9 right. You got 9 right in total.
I really fucked up. I've got to grab more seltzers. I don't have enough.
You got 9 right.
Oh, I grabbed 2.
Therefore,
how many more seltzers do I need to grab?
You got 2. You need 3.
I need 3 more.
Yeah.
It's gonna be mac and cheese night.
That was okay. So we didn't do that differently. We got 9 right total, 6 wrong. Okay. No, but nobody heard that on the mic, but so I don't feel as bad about losing so poorly. But yeah, so we both picked that's night 1 notes. We both picked Asuka to win this because you know what? Why would Rhea come in and just win this? It wouldn't make any sense to the normal person.
I really fucked myself too because I've been drinking a cocktail this whole time.
Oh no.
It's gonna be a mac and cheese night tonight.
Oh, why would you do this?
I'm so sorry.
All right. So, let's see. What's an embarrassing story? Embarrassing story. Trying to think. 'Cause I'm only thinking of stories where I was embarrassed in the moment, not ones that I would be embarrassed to tell. So I gotta kind of broaden my horizon a bit. Man, I'm trying to think, but I can't think of that much right now. I mean, there's tons of small stories I could tell of, like, you know, saying, you too, when a waitress tells me to enjoy my meal, you know, stuff like that. I'm trying to think of, like, bigger stuff. specific
It's
stuff.
an embarrassing story about you.
I
Oh my
know
god,
when
if
you're
you were
gonna
gonna
tell.
punch the door open,
I heard that.
you try to do it like. The thing is that the way she punched it open, she was like in line with the door, so it just opened, and I don't see a fucking cat now. I'm like,
Okay, I've got one to tell.
just know I've got an embarrassing one. That's not the one you think it is. I don't know what you think it is, but it's not that.
Okay, well, I've still got one to tell. If I can't think of one next match. Oh no, I do have one for next match. So tell what you want to tell.
Great. So mine's a very simple story. Mark and I are walking back from the grocery store. And Mark and I are carrying several heavy bags of groceries. And Marcus trips and falls. And my ass is like, well, he's dead, so that's not good. Not only do you trip and fall, but then a car with a bunch of grown-ass men in it drive up and they're like, hey, are you okay? My ass is standing there like...
Why do I not remember this happening?
Maybe because we got into a big argument afterwards.
I legit
We were not in a good mood grocery shopping that day.
I legit do not remember this happening.
Hey, maybe you really suppressed it that hard.
I thought you were going to tell the story about how I told you to get out of your bathroom, aka my bathroom. Or
oh my god. Can I tell that story?
Or the story about how I dropped your pizza on the ground when we were drunk.
Can I tell the get out of my bathroom story?
Or since I don't remember that last one happening, I'm pretty sure you just made it up.
Definitely didn't, I promise you. So Mark, darling Marcus, my dearest, darlingest, most darlingest Marcus. I believe this may have been... Oh, it wasn't, because you didn't drink again that night. I don't remember what we were doing, but there was another party at my apartment back in college.
No, because we were coming back from somewhere. I think it was Halloween.
No, it wasn't, because I was not with you on Halloween.
Oh. I know we were out somewhere.
Sure. So, Mark and I are not in a good mood at this point. Because I think it was Tequila Mark, and Tequila Mark and Liz don't get along very well.
Tequila Mark is great. I don't know what you're talking about.
Tequila Mark is not friends with Elizabeth, but is friends with himself. And that is all that matters to Tequila Mark.
Self-love is important.
So, Mark is drunk out of his mind, and I'm like, I'm gonna make some fucking cookies. So we're sitting on the couch. It's me, my housemates, and my housemate's boyfriend, and our other friend at the time. I think my other housemate's girlfriend. So I'm like, I'm gonna make some cookies. We're all gonna have cookies. It's gonna be a fun little night. And Mark is in the bathroom puking his guts out. So Mark and I were not getting along at that point. I don't remember what was happening, but not important, really. But I go in, I'm like, I'm just going to swallow my fucking pride. I'm going to go in there. I know he doesn't have hair to hold back, but that's my instinct because I'm a lady. So I go in there. I'm like, hey, bud. How's it going? And drunk Mark, who assumes I'm in there to continue whatever we were fighting about, just in the drunkenest voice in the entire world, turns back to me and says, get out of my bathroom. I was like, oh, okay. I was like, baby boy, this is my bathroom. I don't know what the fuck you're on. And I mean, that's the majority of the story right there, but it was a moment of convincing you that you were not in your apartment. Potentially one of my more fun moments.
Yep, so that was that.
And then sweet Marcus the next morning woke up and he was like, hey, and I was like, no, we're not talking. We're not friends right now. Because you ended up going up to my bed, sleeping on my side of the bed, so I had to crawl over you. You wake up in the morning, you're like, hi, what's up? And I was like, huh? I've never been closer to killing a man with my bare hands.
Hi. How's it going?
I love you.
Love you too.
It was going better before I had 4 seltzers to finish.
All right, so yeah, we have Rhea Ripley versus Asuka.
Yeah. Can we talk about Ash Costello?
Who? The woman who sang Rhea's walkout horribly? That was bad.
Imagine having the walkout music curse, and that's the person singing it.
I mean, you had Wale and Big E, and Wale walked right into Big E as he's doing his walkout. Big E had to push him to the side.
Yeah. It was bad. It was bad all around bad. Just not good. Bad. So start with a dropkick to Reya, but Reya doesn't sell because apparently Reya is just massive and doesn't sell those moves. So Asuka just pummels her. Get a kick to the midsection. A backslide and a dropkick to Reya again. Failed hip attack, but Asuka hits Reya with a boot to the face. Front toe hold sends Reya into the buckles and a kick to the face of Reya. Asuka rolls out as Reya goes to roll in. Asuka drags her out. We get a knee to the nose of Reya. And then a kick to the back. Asuka fails the hip attack again. I don't even know. She got 1 or 2 successful ones, I think. But fails it again. Strung up in the ropes. There's a kick. She kicked and then Reya just drops her ass. We get some leg scissors wrapped around Asuka's leg. Kat is doing this weird fucking thing of just standing in the corner of the room and sitting there like, it's giving me like the heebie-jeebies. I feel like there's a ghost back there.
She's the Blair Witch.
There's leg scissors and they get wrapped around Asuka's waist. Asuka breaks free but gets drop kicked by Reya again. We get a bunch of short arm clotheslines to Asuka. Asuka manages to grab the ankle of Reya and put her in a leg bar. Reya hits a German suplex on Asuka and it's a near fucking fall. It was stressful. She smacked Asuka into the buckles before lifting her and placing her up top, but she couldn't manage to lift her and bring her down. Asuka instead sends Reya down and hits a hard missile dropkick. A kick to the back of the neck and a release German suplex to Reya. There's another big hip attack to Reya and a roundhouse, a second big hip attack. Asuka goes up top and is then hit with a fucking dropkick, and Asuka falls off the ring, and the angle of the camera made it so my brain was like, is she falling into the fucking stairs? She wasn't. We get out onto the apron. Jesus fucking Christ, I've got a lot of notes here. Gets out onto the apron. Asuka sends Reya off with a back elbow. Reya gets her in the electric chair and sends Asuka face first into the apron. Get a hip attack to the entering Reya. Asuka goes out onto the apron too. Then a DDT to Reya flying off of the apron onto the ringside area. We get a running knee to the chest of Reya. Then I don't know the name of this. May have been Kawana kicks. May have been Colada kicks. I'm not really sure. I don't
know the name of it.
I understand. I think it was Samoa Joe talking. Also, there's something I want to talk about after this.
I think it's the same thing we want to talk about.
Okay. I really hope it is. I really hope we're on the same wavelength. Okay. There was a noise, and the cat just sitting there. She goes for a sliding knee, but Reya catches her, begins to stomp on Asuka. Get a cloverleaf submission hold. Asuka breaks it by rolling through, which is the first time I've ever seen anybody fucking do that. Maybe just me, but she transitions into the armbar. Reya manages to get herself standing. She lifts Asuka before slinging her into the post. Outside, I've made a new name for suplexes, by the way. I've decided when a wrestler is on the apron and they're either suplexed into the ring or suplexed out of the ring, I've decided that into the ring is an inside-out suplex. Sorry, an outside-in suplex. And then from inside the ring out is an outside-in or inside-out suplex. I don't know the names of them yet. I'm still figuring it out myself. But
it's a lot of work for somebody who doesn't know their lefts and rights.
That's not so nice.
You're making me tell all these embarrassing stories. I get to say that about you.
Also, I don't know if I'm going to be able to finish my last two seltzers when I think about the fact that I've got to drink them basically in succession. So, I'm already behind one. Trying to make up for lost time. We get an outside-in suplex to Asuka over the ropes. Then some back elbows to Reya, but there's an arm lock on Reya. Asuka manages to get an arm bar right after that. Damn cat. I love you so much. And Asuka is nearly pinned. And she tries for the Asuka lock. And then there's a riptide. A messy riptide at that, but a riptide nonetheless. And Reya wins.
Man, Asuka really carried that match. I've been back and forth on Asuka throughout her title reign, but she really made this match good. Reya was fine, but Asuka she made this match kind of worth it. Just doing all the work.
I just had to shut the door a little bit. You're not getting locked in. You don't have to leave. I love you so much. Please don't go.
What is going on? Why you seem so antsy?
Just trying to hold on to the cat.
I can't even get out a whole sentence.
I was just gonna say, I really liked how Asuka looked tonight, and that's why it sucked so much that it was for a fucking loss.
Yeah.
I don't get it, and it makes me so mad. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah. I don't know. I don't think Reya should have won this, but I don't know.
I don't think Reya should have won it either. I mean, good for her. Good for Triple H too, because I'm sure Triple H was probably like,
oh,
yes.
Yeah, you should have seen him on Twitter.
Saw the pictures. He's probably like, that is my literal daughter. There's some stuff that I'm not going to talk about right now, but I just, aside from Reya winning, I'm so fucking mad that Asuka lost.
Yeah.
To be happy, like, I really was hoping that the first time Reya ever got a title, I'd be able to be happy about it.
Right.
But I can't. Asuka's, I was hoping that this match would revitalize Asuka's run, because Reya would do whatever Reya does, and then Charlotte would come in and get involved, and then we would go from there. I was really hoping it would revitalize all of that, and it just fucking didn't.
I think I know, like, the big reason why we don't like this. Because Reya did not put in any work to get it. She put in zero work into a story, into a feud. There was hardly any work in the match. Of course, every match is a lot of work to do physically and mentally, especially in front of a massive crowd for the first time. But Asuka was really carrying the slack in the match. There was zero lead-in, zero build-up to this match. It sucks. It sucks because I would have loved Asuka wins this. Then maybe at Backlash, Reya can win it there.
We got a month of storytelling.
Turn Asuka heel in that month.
Also, people were talking about it, and you were talking about this too. There was no... Why am I being bitten? There was no build-up to this match at all.
Yeah. Besides that contract signing or whatever.
Yeah. It just shows how little they fucking care about Asuka. Honestly.
Yeah. But one thing I do want to talk about aside from this match, I forgot to bring this up. Tom Phillips has been missing.
Same fucking vibe, brother.
He has been gone for the entire WrestleMania, replaced by Michael Cole, unfortunately, because I much prefer Tom Phillips over Michael Cole. But apparently what's happened is Tom Phillips has been breaking COVID protocols and won't be seen for WrestleMania in the near future. Whether or not he returns, that's to be seen. From what I saw from Twitter, from sources, I can't name off the top of my head because I saw them yesterday. He might not be working with WWE again, which sucks because Tom Phillips was such a great commentator.
It sucks, but at the same time, it's like, it sucks, yes. What was the deal with I don't know, Ricochet and Casey Catanzaro and Charlotte and everybody else that was breaking COVID protocol? And
you see, Charlotte I can give excuses to because she's one of their biggest stars. Ricochet and Casey.
Excuses is
right.
Word excuses is misused, I think, but yeah.
But Casey and Ricochet, they are both jobbers. You don't need to protect them.
Casey especially.
Yeah. But I wonder who they're going to bring in to replace Tom now. Because they need a play-by-play guy. Tom was the play-by-play guy. You had Byron as the face commentator. You have Samoa Joe as the heel commentator. Maybe they bring in Nigel McGuinness.
I wonder what tomorrow's going to look like.
I don't know. Michael Cole again? MVP?
I don't know. It sucks so much because Tom Phillips was one of my favorites.
Yeah.
And my dude had to go break COVID protocol, whatever the fuck that is. Wait, yeah, I don't know. Also, sorry. Does the WWE actually have a COVID protocol? Because last I checked,
it probably only applies
is Jackson Riker fitting the COVID protocol right now? Is that happening?
Or Drake Wirtz,
Danny Burch,
Karen Cross,
any of these people, Scarlett, or
Raquel Gonzalez.
What is your COVID protocol? I'm not, and this is not me saying this like, well, why are you getting rid of Tom if this is the case? I'm saying, why aren't you getting rid of the rest of those people?
Right.
Punishing the rest of them, not getting rid of them necessarily, because I think getting rid of is excessive.
Yeah.
Depending on the situation. Like, I'm saying, like, I don't know what Tom's situation is. Maybe Tom has been hosting, like, massive fucking WrestleMania
maybe
parties.
He's been
like,
sleeping
massless,
around with fans during COVID.
That's a different protocol that he should not be breaking, just for starters.
Yeah.
Everything else barred. Oh, cool. The cat's just staring at a wall now.
Blair Witch.
She sees ghosts. I know she does. I'm just gonna say this. I'm gonna say this once. I don't know what Tom Phillips did, but the term breaking COVID protocol just kind of sounds like he's been maskless at times he shouldn't be.
Right.
Which, why would you not just slap a massive fine on him? It seems like the WWE's thing to do.
You know what it probably was? And it pisses me off.
I know what it probably was.
He was probably maskless around one of their superstars. One of the ones that they protect like nobody's business. And
I was just going to say that it sounds like they're making an example of him.
That's possible, but also why make an example out of him and not Drake Wirtz?
Oh boy. Yeah.
And they already made an example out of Steve Cutler, who didn't deserve it. Out of everyone who's been breaking these protocols, he deserves it the least out of all of them.
Totally fair. Steve Cutler apparently was hosting like a ton of like maskless parties.
Right, but he was hosting a maskless parties while Casey and Ricochet have been going out into public maskless, out into restaurants.
Yeah. No, you're right.
Charlotte
Dana
Flair has been going to gyms maskless. Dana Brooke has been going out maskless. A fucking Raquel Gonzalez has been posting parties with other wrestlers from AEW too, maskless. She's been inviting Ty Conti to her parties, maskless. It's fucking ridiculous. Like, why hurt Tom Phillips over this when you have an entire cast that is not being punished? Treat them equally.
I don't want to say why hurt Tom Phillips over this because, yeah, sure. If Tom Phillips was fucking around, Tom Phillips should find out.
Right. But
so should everyone else.
Exactly. Like, that's what I'm saying. Equal punishment. If you're going to hurt Tom Phillips for this, hurt Raquel. Hurt Charlotte. Ricochet.
Let's not get too mad yet. We don't know what tomorrow's going to look like. We don't know what the future's going to look like. But if Tom Phillips gets released, if that comes out, then I'll start having things to say.
I'm going to be so mad. I'm going to be furious. I mean, I've seen so many pictures of on Instagram of like fucking, I know this is a different promotion, but Ty Conti has been going to karaoke parties out in public, maskless. It may have been in like a private room, but that room was full of people.
So, I don't get this. This is the thing that like fucking annoys me is that like, you know, if I feel a tooth on my leg, cat, heard the telltale an open mouth.
Oh.
Yeah, I know. Oh, I'm about to bite me. You're getting attention. I haven't seen my family in a fucking year. I have not hugged my mother in a fucking year. I have not hugged her because I have been busy protecting her, my stepfather, my grandmother,
and yourself.
And COVID, myself. I have missed funerals, or not funerals, but I've missed seeing family members for the last time. I have missed vacations. I have missed birthdays. I have missed so fucking much. What would I give to see family members that I lost during this period of time before they passed? Mm-hmm. I would give anything to do that. There are people out here who are fucking just throwing caution to the fucking wind.
Yeah.
Makes me so mad because we wouldn't be in this position if that weren't the case.
Look, we could go on this for so long. This probably has a lot to do with just the God complex that a lot of these people have, being in the spotlight, being people of fame, I guess. They suck. That's how we can end this. But on a lighter note, after this match, 16 years ago, apparently, we had John Cena and Batista in the Royal Rumble as the last two, and they both went on to win the heavyweight championship and I believe the WWE championship. And people are drawing parallels to Bianca and Reya winning the Royal Rumble. Well, being the last two in the Royal Rumble and going on to win the titles. That's a really nice comparison to draw.
Oh, that's fair. That's a good one. Who am I being compared to those two?
But we talk so much about the negative. Ripley, I don't know about Bianca because she doesn't post a ton from her daily life, but I know Ripley has been wearing a mask a ton. Like, every picture she posts of her in the gym, she's wearing a mask. Every picture of her walking into any kind of venue, she's wearing a mask.
And say what you will about Drew McIntyre, a man has been wearing a mask constantly.
It's because he had firsthand experience with COVID.
But even before that, he was wearing a mask constantly.
Yeah.
So
Sheamus, Cesaro. I mean, Cesaro had a picture with his mask off from last night, but he was holding his mask in his hand.
Well, yeah. There's more negative stuff, but I'm not going to bring it up.
Yeah. Let's stay positive.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the one thing that we can garner from this is that there are a ton of superstars who are taking their responsibility pretty strongly.
Yeah. Also, oh my God, I saw, this is one last thing I want to talk about before we move on, but Denise Salcedo posted on Twitter. Somebody apparently tweeted or posted on Facebook saying that I tested positive for COVID, but that's not going to stop me from attending night 2 of WrestleMania.
That was a negative I wasn't going to bring up, Marcus.
I saw that, and we hope it's a joke. We hope it's a joke or a troll or something.
Well, yeah, I think it may have been a troll because they were like, oh, well, I'm wearing a mask, I'm not going to reply to anybody else. And then, like, they made a comment about, oh, I lost my mask in the crowd, but I'm going up front. I'm going to get a front row seat.
Okay.
And so, I mean, that makes me feel like it's probably somebody fucking around, but like wrongfully fucking around. And they like were talking about how they like fist bumped Cesaro and shit like that. And I was like, excuse me.
Yeah. So that sounds like most definitely a joke. But anyway, moving
Fucked up joke.
Yeah, don't make jokes like that because that's the same as making a bomb threat. You're risking the lives of others doing that. All right. So after that, we had Titus and Hulk. We had the most unnecessary segment, the most undeserved segment that nobody asked for.
Forgot about this.
Titus and Hulk Hogan came out to talk to the crowd, still in their pirate outfits. Bayley then comes out, and she demands her pyro be shot out, and we get all of her pyro. Great, awesome, all of her pyro looks great. Probably cost $1 million. And then the Bella twins come out. We all thought it would be Becky. Everybody wanted Becky. Everyone thought it would be Becky, but the Bella twins come out in their sequins dresses. I think it was Brie who was wearing the basketball uniform dress.
Same dresses that they wore last night.
And they attack Bayley. They punch her, they kick her, they elbow her. I think signifying a return for the Bella twins. But nobody wants the Bella twins. Nobody asked for them.
Hey, hang on.
Sorry.
I've been wanting the Bella twins to come back. Sure, I want them to come back, no doubt about it. Without a doubt, I want them back. Bella Twins have done more for women's wrestling than I think just about anybody in the modern era. But there's one person that we're all waiting for to come back.
Yes.
The Bella Twins at this point, I think if they come back, it's not going to be like, it's not going to be full time. It's probably going to be for a one-off feud or something.
Right.
So if they come back, sure. My ass over the moon. We're going. My space helmet. But we all... I know Becky was like, did the whole night 2 thing and then was like, just kidding. Congrats, Bianca. But I was like, but this is the perfect time because she said just kidding.
Yeah.
that's pure Becky saying just kidding and then coming back.
Yeah. And I would like the Bella Twins back, but if they do come back, I want a reformed Bella Twins, like how we got a reformed Carmella, you know? Something to fit the times more than the Divas era.
I think reformed is the wrong word because reformed just makes me think of like schoolgirl, like childish, like wearing a collared shirt.
A more modern.
Exactly. A more modern, less divas. Yeah, no, I really thought it was going to be Becky. I was like, my breath was bated, and then like the Bella Twins theme played, and I was like, fuck, I want to be excited about you guys coming back, but this is not how you do it.
I was on Twitter for this. Sean Ross Sapp said that nobody wanted this. Denise Salcedo said that everyone was expecting Becky Lynch. She was expecting Becky Lynch. Disappointing. But I do need to run to the bathroom before our main event, so...
Okay, go for it.
Do you want me to go now? Unless you have something else to say.
I was just gonna say, Becky Lynch is the fucking man.
Yeah,
she's letting me fucking down constantly.
She's. It's nice to know she has a sense of humor, though.
At the end of the day, as much as I can joke, I get it. She just had a kid. Yeah. I fully respect her being like, I kind of want to stay home with the new baby instead of entertaining you fucking idiots.
Now, backlash though, there's no excuses.
Becky, I refuse.
Becky versus Reya for the title.
Yeah, where she's just like, I gave this to fucking Asuka. Not you.
She couldn't hold on to it. All right, so I'm gonna run to the bathroom real quick, entertain the crowd while I'm gone.
There's a crowd. Yeah, no, I was really hoping it was Becky, but I mean, again, I get it. Like, as a kid, understandable. I guess you have a kid, you want to stay home with the kid. It sounds like Marcus just fell into the toilet, so we might actually be here for a while alone. If he did fall into the toilet, I will have to go and assist him on his way out. You know, I honestly think that tonight was... It wasn't quite what I wanted it to be. I do, however, feel quite like a child on, like, Christmas Day or Christmas Day's night. It's like, night comes and you're just like, oh... Okay. All over now, Johnny. But it's a shame. There's a lot of stuff that, like, would have been exciting if it weren't done the way it was done. Even with, like, the Reya Asuka stuff, like, that could have been exciting, but the thing is, it's like, you had her sitting in catering for however long. You didn't use her, and you didn't build the feud at all. You could have. It's necessary. But anyways, I just want to remind everyone that we are on day 5. On day 5 now of streaming 7 days in a row. So I'll make this point again at the end, but we'll be back on Monday to talk about Raw because, as our tagline suggests, the tagline that you guys don't know about because I've made it up, We watch Raw, so you don't have to. We'll be watching Raw. We'll be recapping Raw for you. And then on Tuesday, we'll be doing NXT. And then you'll never hear from us again. Ever. Okay, we'll be back on Friday. But it'll be weird. It'll be weird to have Wednesdays and Thursdays off for the first time.
So, I was thinking while I was in the bathroom.
We're in there for 5 seconds. You formulate a thought.
I had a lot of thoughts, actually. Too many. Do you want to quickly predict what's going to happen at Backlash? Because I had some thoughts.
I'm drunk. No. But you can.
I have a feeling.
Psychopath.
First of all, we'll see Roman and Edge in a singles match at Backlash. That's going to happen for sure.
Okay.
We're probably going to get Nia and Shayna versus Lana and Naomi in a tag team match. Probably Becky and Reya. I wonder if they would have the guts to do Omos versus the New Day in a handicap match.
Maybe.
That's what I've got so far. I can't think of anything else. I don't think they would do Apollo versus Biggie again. No. Unless they have an excuse for them to, because Biggie could be like, "You used your guy against me. Give me just you, Apollo, just you. No commander, just you."
I do wonder how the commander's going to factor into everything.
Steel cage match.
Okay. That doesn't answer how the commander's going to factor into this.
He's probably just going to be like AJ's Omos, you know.
At first I was like, Omos versus the commander. Then I realized I was on 2 different brands.
Yeah, I mean, if they unify the title, you never know.
Oh, you went outside and the cat left me.
Yeah, she's in the hallway. All right. So now we have the main event. The match most people were looking forward to aside from Bianca versus Sasha. I know you're not paying attention, but I'm going to keep talking. We have Edge versus Daniel Bryan versus Roman Reigns for the Universal Championship. I don't know about you, but this match delivered for me. This was fantastic stuff.
I didn't really feel on that one.
Oh man, really? I thought this was so fun. Edge was great. Edge really showed off his desperation. And I thought this was great storytelling. Edge showed off his desperation. We saw a Daniel Bryan who was mean but also focused on what he was doing. And we saw a Roman who still relied on Jay, but was still able to get the job done in the long run. If we got a surprise, it would have made it a lot better. Probably match of the night, but I think the match in and of itself was still great stuff.
All right. Hit us with your main event embarrassing story?
Well, first let's do our predictions. So, Kat's predictions. She didn't do who would get pinned. We just have who she picked.
She did not have the opportunity.
She picked Daniel Bryan. Well, it's funny. We each picked different people, and that's great. She picked Daniel Bryan. You picked Edge to pin Daniel Bryan. Now, you were right on Daniel Bryan being pinned because Roman pinned both Edge and Daniel Bryan, which, by the way, that was a great finish. That was peak heel finish.
Am I drinking as many seltzers as I am if I was right about Daniel Bryan getting the finish? Getting pinned?
Because you still got, you got wrong about Edge. You were wrong about Reya. Or wrong about Asuka. You were wrong about Biggie. You were wrong about Natty and Tamina. That's 4. Yes? Okay, I guess you just need to drink 4. Edge, Asuka, Biggie, Natty, and Tamina. Okay.
Man, I cracked open my mango seltzer. I don't like mango. I like the cranberry.
So wait, you got Daniel Bryan getting pinned. You got Sheamus. You got Kevin Owens. You got Randy. Okay, so you went 10-5, not 9-6. Okay. 10-5, 9-6. All right. Still not bad. All right. And I picked Roman Reigns to win by pinning Edge. That was right. That was my one W of the whole pay-per-view. Fuck.
How many seltzers do you have left to drink?
Please don't mention it. Please don't
Okay.
talk about it.
Okay. Can I have your embarrassing story, please?
All right. You know, my embarrassing story, it's my go-to embarrassing story for everything, and it changed my life. Fuck me.
Dear. Oh dear. I mean, origin story here.
I think you know this story.
I might.
All right, so I was in high school. I had this crush on this girl. This girl I had a crush on since elementary school. And I was just beginning to tell other people about it because I've been very closed off about my crushes. It was never anything I told anyone about, I think, besides my parents.
I only just found out about mine last week.
And so I started telling them about it. I've started asking them to I told them about it so they could throw in a good word for me. Because you need a good wingman. And then my one friend who I told this about, I play Xbox with him a lot. And so I played Xbox with him one day. Specifically, I don't know what he was playing. I was playing Splinter Cell Conviction. I have this ingrained in my memory. I was specifically in like a level where I was going through some ruins. I was using night vision. This is like burned into my memory.
Oh wow.
And so we were talking, we're just hanging out, just chilling on Xbox. And his brother came over and his friends came over because they have some mutual friends. They came over, and then he lives next door to my crush, who will remain nameless. She came over, and they were joking around, and my friend is like, or my friend puts her on the mic, and we exchange hi, hello, hi, hello, and then out of awkwardness, my friend says, hey, so-and-so, Mark has a huge crush on you. And at that moment, I'm like, well, fuck you. And I legit pressed the power button of my Xbox, turned it off, and called it that. I decided to just end my life right there.
Did you ever talk to her? Did she ever confront you about it?
Never confronted me about it, but we have talked. Because I think that was sophomore year of high school. I mean, we've talked since then. She went to the same college we went to. Never really had a conversation with her in college, but we follow each other on social media. Nothing super friendly. Yeah, that was my.
Oh, that story never gets better.
Never does. It never does. It only gets worse.
All right.
So, main event time.
I believe it is. So, Roman starts by immediately punching the tits off of Daniel Bryan, and then clotheslines Edge against the buckles. D-Bry gets some Romy by punching him. It's thrown out and then super kicked by Mr. J, who's still standing ringside, and tossed into the stairs. Also, by the way, it seemed like Roman was not coming out. It really did for a hot minute. You and I both thought this. He didn't show for a minute, and then they came out with their lays.
Yeah, no, it was very weird because when we first saw Roman, what was it, SummerSlam at his first booked match? When did he have a surprise appearance? Was it before SummerSlam or was it at SummerSlam?
Was it Extreme Rules?
It was no Extreme Rules was Bray and Braun. The match where he showed up was between Fiend and Braun. I believe the first booked match with him was SummerSlam.
Okay.
Because that was You'll Never See It Coming. And we all thought John Cena.
Huh.
We're all disappointed at the end, but Roman didn't show up for the match until it was time to pin. The ring exploded. Charles Robinson fell out of the ring. And
flopped like a fish.
We all thought that would happen. I would have popped like hell if that happened.
I would have hated it. So Jay super kicks Daniel Bryan ringside. He tosses Daniel into the stairs. Roman then punches Edge, throws him out. Jay super kicks Edge. Roman clears the table. Looks like he's about to do some fucking damage. But Daniel Bryan jumps out onto Roman. Gets the damage done and then gets super kicked by Jay again. So Jay goes after Edge and tries to whip him into the stairs, but Edge reverses, sending Jay into them. Edge then bounces Rowe off of literally everything ringside. So like fucking barricade, then the apron, then the barricade, then the apron, then the barricade, then the post, then the barricade. It's a mess. Edge then gets the steps prepped for God only knows what. We get a DDT to Jay on those steel steps. Daniel rolls back in, Edge rolls back in, and I said, that's my winning combination. Let's fucking go. No.
Sorry. We just didn't talk about Edge's gear today. Edge came out in all white.
So hot.
Just like Randy. Randy came out in the white gear too.
Once again.
No,
Jeff's
really bringing back
handsome.
the what is it? The rated
Rated R Superstar?
No. Their group name.
Rated RKO.
Rated RKO. Very nice.
To be honest with you, it was pretty fucking.
And Daniel Bryan has new gear too.
Daniel Bryan came out in new fucking gear, and I said, "Oh, thank you." Not the stained blue gear that's like falling apart.
Yeah. What was his new gear? It looked like kind of like a Arizona can.
It really did, because his new gear was basically, so the trunks were this nice green kind of paneling.
It's like foresty.
And then the side panel was like trees.
Mm-hmm.
And then his knee pad still followed kind of the same thing that like it normally does, but it had the way that the lines went kind of looked like trees.
Yeah.
Well, it was so nice. It was so pretty, and I was like, I've been begging Daniel Bryan to come back in new gear. So
everyone killed it today with the gear.
Of course,
this whole weekend.
It's WrestleMania.
Yeah.
So Edge whips Daniel Bryan into the buckles, gets a drop toe hold, but a drop toe hold sends Edge into the buckles himself. We go up top, we get a hurricane run on two Edge off the top. Edge rolls through. Now Roman has finally decided that he is alive. He goes for the inside out suplex, which is exactly what it sounds like. You're going from the inside to the outside. But Daniel Bryan, who he is suplexing, will not go. He bounces Roman against the apron, gets a missile dropkick onto Edge inside the ring. Tries to hit Edge with a clothesline, but gets massively suplexed by Roman, who was waiting ringside. Roman then gets hit by a baseball slide from Edge. We get a big old Roman clothesline back in the ring. He goes for the Superman punch, but is caught and sent face first into the canvas with a DDT. And then finally we get the Superman punch to Edge. Roman goes for the spear, but Edge sunset flips that shit. Boys spear each other instead. Daniel Bryan is then back. We get a flying headbutt to Edge, and then a flying headbutt to Roman. Yes kicks. Reigns ducks the last one, but Daniel Bryan gets the running knee to Edge, and a yes kick finale to Roman. Edge at this point has vanished. Daniel Bryan is stomping on Roman's face. He wants the yes lock and gets it. Edge comes in and breaks the hold at Paul's behest. Daniel Bryan gets the yes lock on Edge, and Roman breaks that up. Reigns then starts raining down elbows and fists on Daniel. He powerbombs Daniel into Edge's torso and tosses Daniel from the ring. Roman then gets some steps set up and powerbombs Daniel Bryan through the announce desk from those stairs, which I thought was kind of funny. It was sort of like he was like, I need to have my nice little walk up to it. With the steps. Mm-hmm. So the announce desk fucking collapses, as it showed on a main event. Edge spears Roman and basically dead after this. Once he finally comes back to life, he loads Roman back in, sets off on a scavenger hunt for chairs. Gets the chairs, brings them in. But Rose stops one of the chairs and sends it from the ring, except for one piece of the chair, which will come in handy.
Now,
Roman goes for the gate.
Sorry, the timing with Discord's off.
Okay.
This little piece of the chair was just further example why I fucking love this match. I just rewatched the finish of it, and this match killed it for me.
No, not for me. You're gonna be SOL if you try to put this for the match of the night. So Roman goes for the guillotine, but Edge counters. He throws Roman into the ropes. We get a crossface on Roman, and Edge gets the fucking chair leg in Roman's mouth. Or whatever part of the chair was left over. It was a rod from the chair. Gets that in Roman's mouth. Daniel Bryan at this point decides that he is also alive, jumps in, gets the yes lock on Roman. So at this point, Roman is just fucking like arms back, Supermaning it. Being held. Daniel Bryan and Edge start headbutting each other. Before Daniel Bryan breaks and pounces on Edge. Edge goes for the running knee. Daniel Bryan goes for the running knee, but Edge spears him. Edge then spears Roman, and at that point I was like, oh, Elizabeth has won. But Daniel Bryan takes out the ref to stop the count. And I said, well, fuck me. So that's fine. We get alternating chair shots between Daniel Bryan and Roman at this point because Edge is fucking pissed. Then he decides, all right, so I'm going to tuck one chair under Daniel's head, one chair under Roman's head, and then I'm going to slappity slap with the other chair that I have and sandwich their heads between steel. He manages to do that to Daniel Bryan, which I was like, maybe that's like the last person we should be doing it to at this point. My heavenly opinion. But as he goes to do it to Mr. Roman, Jay super kicks Edge because Jay is apparently still alive. I have not seen him once since he got fucked up on the stairs, but super kicks Edge and Edge spears him. I said, okay, there's still hope. Then Roman spears Edge, does the same fucking thing, tucks a little chair under his head, smacks him. Daniel Bryan at this point is still dead. Drags Edge over onto Daniel Bryan, pins both of them like, fuck you, I have done it. Please leave me alone. The thing is, Roman, is that you haven't done it. haven't. Jey Uso has done it.
Let me give you 2 reasons why I fucking love this ending, okay?
Hate it.
First of all, the chair bit of smashing the chair over the opponent's head with their head on top of a chair, the way they worked that bit shows that that is a goddamn knockout move, because he hit Daniel Bryan once, he didn't move a muscle after that. And then Roman did it to Edge. Edge didn't even flinch when it happened. He was knocked the fuck out. And then he won. So they just made precedent for that being a deadly move. But also, they just set it up so that one of 2 people wins the Universal title off of him. Either Biggie or Cesaro. Because Biggie has the New Day to come help him against Jey. Or Cesaro has Shinsuke to come help him against Jey. One of those 2. And imagine the pop when either one of them takes it off of Jey, or takes it off of Roman.
Backlash Roman versus Edge. Jey cannot be ringside.
No.
Skip.
It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen there because they want that massive pop. They've already shown Edge to be super desperate, heelish. They're going to want because they solidified Roman as the heel, like the biggest heel in WWE right now, by disrespecting both of them, by double pinning them. Do you see the massive disrespect that is? You need the antithesis by having the biggest face, which is either Cesaro or Biggie. You need one of them. And I think because they took the title off Biggie, I think he's next. I think he's next at Roman.
I don't know about that one, Chief. But
Oh man, wait until you see. Wait until you see. I see it clear as day, and I fucking love it.
All right. What do you say, Super Chief?
I am the tribal. Oh no, I'm not gonna say that.
You're not. You're white.
I am the head of the table.
Tribe for you, baby boy.
I am the head of the table. I don't know about that one. I am the head of the table. There's a table right here. I'm at the head of it.
You are not at the head of that table.
I am at the head of the table.
I am not talking to you anymore.
All right. So that's our WrestleMania. That is our entire Mania event. Overall, Liz, would you say night 1 was better than night 2?
Yes.
I think anyone can say that, but yes, night 2 was a bit disappointing, but I mean, the main event I thought was fantastic. We both thought Sheamus versus Riddle was amazing. Or at least worth it. Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens was great. Randy versus The Fiend was interesting. Definitely the one to start with, I think. If you're going to start with anything, that was the one to start with. Reya versus Asuka, that was good. But now we have the best of the night. So let's start with promo of the night. We started off with Hulk and Titus introducing the show. We see their pirate costumes, whatever. Fuck Hulk Hogan. We then have
Hogan.
Titus. Huh?
So just fuck Hogan.
Yeah. We then have Titus and Hogan backstage with Eric Bischoff. Bayley walks in and wants Bischoff to be part of her show. Fuck Hogan, but Bayley, it's always a good time to see Bayley. We then have Riddle and Great Khali backstage, with featuring Rob Van Dam. God, they're just playing into Riddle's horrible gimmick even more. Even more. It sucks. We then have the Hall of Fame. Then we have Titus and Hulk. We have Bailey, and then the introduction of the Bella twins, hinting at them being back. I think that's what they did at least. It's either you pick Hogan or you pick Riddle, or you pick Hall of Fame. Not an easy choice. It is not an easy choice at all.
It's not.
Because nobody wanted to see the Bella twins at this point. Like, yes, great to see Bella twins back, fine. But at that moment, at this Mania, nobody wanted to see the Bella twins.
Sucks because I like the Bella twins.
I mean, yeah, Bella twins are great, but again, at this Mania, at this moment, after Becky has been teasing her return, with Hall of Fame, we've already seen the Hall of Fame. We saw it on Tuesday. We saw it already. Riddle and Great Khali.
To be fair, my brain was boiling, so I did not see the Hall of Fame. Thank you.
Yeah. Riddle and Great Khali, you're just playing into Riddle's horrible gimmick even more. Titus and Hulk with Eric Bischoff and Bailey. Fucking Hogan. This whole promo was just awkward. Hulk and Titus introducing the show. It was so weird. Nobody likes Hogan. Ugh, God. Fucking, I'll pick the Bella twins. Pick the fucking Bella twins.
It's probably the best choice to go with.
It's either that or Hall of Fame. But let's go with Wrestler of the Night now. So we start off with Randy versus The Fiend. I'm going with The Fiend. The Fiend's look coming in was great. His tributes to Luke Harper were fantastic and very nice to see. And you know what? He did a great job. And I saw a little bit more theorizing online. And I think this shows that Sister Abigail is the one pulling the strings to Fiend. Because I don't think this was a distraction. I think this was a command. This was Alexa Bliss appearing and saying, Fiend, look at me. And Fiend did just as she said. Didn't turn away. Took that RKO. And returned to looking at her. This is new leadership. And you know what? Fiend played it off well. Fiend did a great job. Then we had Natty and Tamina versus Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax. I wanted to give this to Shayna Baszler at first because seeing Shayna Baszler care about a match is 1 in a million. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
But I think I want to give this one to Tamina because she did an amazing job in this match.
As you should.
She showed a lot of emotion, a lot of heart, a lot of passion. They should have won this match. Natty and Tamina should have won this. But Tamina she looked really good. And I really appreciate that. I appreciate that about her. Then we had Sami Zayn versus Kevin Owens. I picked Sami. Sami looked fantastic. And I don't say that very often. But Sami looked so good tonight. That fucking, what was that driver he had? The Michinoka driver. That looked so good. Sami looked mean. Sami looked like he was out for blood. This whole match looked like a death match, but Sami looked like he was mad. And then at the end, when Logan sided with Kevin Owens and he was like, no, what do you think you're doing? Just got so mean. Loved it. Sami showed so much passion. It was great. Then we had Sheamus versus Riddle. I am going with Sheamus. I'm going with Sheamus all the way. Because even though we got that great imagery from Riddle of him taking the blood, taking the bro kick, Sheamus looked like a king. Sheamus looked great. Sheamus, despite bloodying Riddle's face, held that title high and looked proud and mean while he did it. He did a great job. He really did. And you know what? He may have messed up that white noise, but it was a good correction on his part. Not deciding to risk it, and instead step down, take it from the ground, and then do a different move. It was great thinking on his part. Great safety. Then we had Biggie versus Apollo Crews. I'm going with Apollo Crews on this. Apollo looked great. He really looked great. He looked mean. Not to say Biggie didn't look great. He did too, but I think Apollo Crews' extra passion and ferocity in this match. What's going on? What are you doing?
I have the hiccups. I can't get rid of them.
Aw. But while you deal with those hiccups, I'll continue explaining Apollo Crews. He looked really great in this match. He looked ever since he's announced this change in character, he has looked the part since then, whether it's in matches and promos. He has been so fitting of this new Nigerian royalty since he announced it. And he really showed that off in this match. We then have Reya Ripley versus Asuka. And I wrote down Reya Ripley, but no, I'm switching it to Asuka. Asuka looked fantastic. Asuka looked like she was deserving of winning that championship. Reya was carried through that match. And normally I don't like to say that because I love Reya Ripley. I love how she was in NXT. And I am praying that she's not like another Keith Lee where she's brought up to the main roster and is instantly looking poor. But Asuka killed it in this match. She looked so good. But then we had Edge versus Daniel Bryan versus Roman Reigns as our main event. I'm gonna go with Roman. I think Roman looked so good in this match. The disrespect of throwing Edge onto Daniel Bryan. And not only that, not only did he throw Edge onto Daniel Bryan, but he overshot it a little bit so that Edge's shoulders were also down. So there was no chance of any funny business happening. That disrespect of pinning both of them. Man, that was so good. That was so well done. But I thought out of all of them, Roman performed the best. He looked the meanest. He looked like he wanted it the most. Even though he had Edge's desperation. That's fine. I think, yeah, Edge was desperate. I didn't like the character so much. Even though it was fitting, I just didn't vibe with it so much. I vibed with Roman's champion persona a lot more. I think it's a lot more fitting for the times, a lot more fitting for the title. And I think out of all of them, you know, say what you will about Jay coming in and disrupting. I think Roman's persona fits the title a lot more than Daniel Bryan and Edge. If this was Edge around Royal Rumble, he would be more fitting of the title. I see you giggling, and I wanna. It makes me want to laugh. But
I'm not giggling.
it looks like you are. I know it's the hiccups. I know. But yeah, Roman killed it in this match. He really did, and his selling of the fucking the double submission that he had on him. My God, that was great. Roman killed it. But as far as the overall wrestler of the night, it's tough. It is very tough. Oh man, I gotta do the elimination again. It's not Apollo. Not Fiend. Not Tamina. It is not Roman. It is not Asuka. I'm gonna make, you know what? I'm gonna make tonight's wrestler of the night of Wrestlemania. I keep forgetting this is of Wrestlemania. But of the night of just tonight alone, I'm picking Sami Zayn. But of WrestleMania in its entirety, it's Bianca Belair still. She is still the wrestler of the night.
So we're saying that Bianca Belair is the wrestler of the night?
Of the pay-per-view.
Okay.
Of the night, it's Sami, and to me.
I don't agree with you, but I can't really argue with you right now. Long form?
I think you need to see a doctor about those hiccups.
I don't get them that often. It's just right now I'm hands. I can't. This is the first time in almost a year doing this podcast that I've been incapacitated by hiccups. I think it was Sheamus that was wrestler of the night for tonight. But I agree with you. That was Bianca Belair for the pay-per-view.
Okay. Okay. All right, now match of the pay-per-view. We had Randy versus Edge. Oh, we picked Bianca versus Sasha last night. Tonight we had Randy versus The Fiend, which is incredibly short, very confusing, but leads a lot to the imagination. Both Randy and Fiend did a good job. Alexa Bliss even did a great job coming out. Loved the effects of the ink or whatever, the black liquid just pouring down her face. That was very well done. Tag team match left a lot to be desired. A lot. That was not great.
I agree.
Then we had Sami Zayn versus Kevin Owens, which was fantastic. The chemistry, like having two friends just duke it out. It makes a great match. Everyone knows this. And even Logan Paul was fine. He had decent reactions on the sidelines. We didn't hear from him at all. We didn't hear his voice at all. Great. The match these two, Kevin Owens and Sami, put on, it was great. Then we had Sheamus versus Riddle. And this match was great. This was a mean, brutal match. I mean, it's like, this is like David and Goliath, basically. If David was an MMA fighter and Goliath won. This was really, really something to behold. And the finish was just perfect. Yeah, it was great stuff. Then we had Biggie versus Apollo, which left a lot to be desired. Incredibly short, especially based on the build that this match has gotten. And not a single drum was used either. Disappointing.
It's cruelty.
And then we had Rhea Ripley versus Asuka. Reya was carried through the match. She wasn't bad though. It was good, but Asuka She killed it. She killed this match. The result of this match wasn't great. I would have loved Asuka to retain. But I get the sentiment that WWE's going for. I get it. I don't like it, but I get it.
It's fair.
And then we had the triple threat. Triple threat main event. I loved this. I thought Edge, Daniel Bryan, and Roman all did a great job. Jay also did a great job. He is the fourth fighter in this triple threat. He was great. The finish, I thought, was perfect. If you're going to have Roman win it with a ton of disrespect. Further him as the heel. It was so well done. The finish came off as deadly. It worked perfectly. Everything about this match worked so well, in my opinion. But I don't think it compares to our match of the event, Bianca versus Sasha, for the SmackDown Women's Championship.
I think our match of the night should be Sheamus versus Riddle. Something. I think it was much better, and it was me. I think it was a lot better, and there was like a result that ended in something I wasn't expecting. Whereas with Roman versus Edge and Daniel Bryan, I kind of expected the ending.
Did you expect though? Because you put Edge.
That was more of a prediction based on who I wanted to win.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas I kind of after everything sort of saw this coming.
Right.
So I think that the match of the night should be Sheamus versus Riddle, and that's that on that.
Okay. I can agree with that. I think that match was fantastic. And put Sheamus in a position that he really should be in, and put Riddle in a position that he should be in too. I'm expecting to see a rematch between these two, and you know what? I'm looking forward to it because these two can put on a hell of a match. So, do you agree with our match of the pay-per-view?
Yes.
All right, so promo of the pay-per-view. It's still the New Day, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So we revert to night one for all of our pay-per-view best of the night or best of the pay-per-view. New Day making up for lost time. Bianca Belair is our wrestler of the night, and Bianca Belair versus Sasha Banks for the SmackDown Women's Championship is our match of the pay-per-view. Overall, disappointed by night two.
Yes, as was I. I thought it was kind of lame.
Yeah.
Not lame. Like match-wise, it was good. But I think
it was like, even with matches, it was like 50-50.
I think WrestleMania should be when there's big returns. I think WrestleMania should be when there's big surprises. And I got some surprises, but like I was kind of let down by a lot of stuff, especially the handling of Asuka's title reign.
Yeah. And the payoff with Bayley too.
Yeah, that was not what I was hoping for. And I hate that the Bella Twins were put in a position of being not what I was hoping for.
Right. And the fact that they were beat down by what I think are two heels. Because I think the Bella Twins are two heels.
I don't know how they left.
I hope that doesn't put Bayley in a position to be a face again. That would suck.
No, I think this is going to make her a mega heel.
Okay. I can vibe with that. But yeah, overall, definitely should have swapped the nights. Definitely. I think starting the entire pay-per-view night one with Randy versus The Fiend would have been the best way to go about it. You start night two with Bobby versus Drew. Great.
I think starting with the match I was least expecting starting me with the match that I was least excited for was good. I think starting tonight with Randy versus The Fiend was best because it gave me less time to think like, well, what the fuck is happening there?
Right. Okay. I want to ask you what your dream order would be, but it doesn't seem like you're in any shape to answer that right now.
I am not in a position to answer that question.
I definitely think having the tag team turmoil as like a pre-show would be the best way to go about it. And then starting with Drew and Bobby, then and then keeping the order. But starting night 1 with Drew versus Bobby, and then having what happened in night 2 happen. Basically swap the nights, but then swap Drew and Bobby with Randy and The Fiend.
I can see that.
I think that's the best way to go about it. You should definitely have heel night before face night. I don't know why they did face night first before heel night.
I don't know.
But I think overall, having a 2-night WrestleMania was definitely better than a 1-night WrestleMania.
I agree.
Do you want me to close out the show for you?
Oh, let me give it a shot. Let me give it a shot.
Okay.
If you joined us tonight, thank you so much. If you join us in the future, thank you so much. We really appreciate it. It's so much fun to have other people here. I apologize for my hiccups, but please join us tomorrow night for Monday Night Raw post WrestleMania. It's going to be really fun. Our whole charade, or what is it? Our whole shtick is we watch Raw so you don't have to, because we watch Raw so you don't have to. So please join us. It'll be really fun. We're going to recap Raw. We're going to make it more fun than it actually fucking probably was. Yeah, please join us. It'll be a good time. It'll be a good time. And it'll be our 6th and almost last night of streaming in a row.
Thank you all for watching. Hit the follow or subscribe button if you enjoyed. Our YouTube is the Pinfall Podcast. Our Twitter is Pinfall Podcast. My Twitter, as you can see, is at the Mark Cameron. Liz's is at Eliza Elaine 23. And like Liz said, we'll be back tomorrow night around 11:15 or 11:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for Raw. Thank you for joining us once again. We'll see you tomorrow night for Raw. Have a fantastic evening.
And if anyone wants to know why I'm making weird faces, it's because I'm trying to hold my breath and get rid of these hiccups.
Yep.
I don't mean to slur my words when I say that, but it's got to be quick.
All right. Thank you all for watching. Have a great night.